Hello, welcome to another edition of Destiny Talks to People. I'm joined by a new guest on episode 2. His name is Counterpoints. Did we ever figure out what your actual online name was?
Yeah, we figured it out like 2 or 3 times now. You just keep forgetting it.
It's Counterpoints.
Yeah,
But
just
not
counterpoints.
Okay.
Yeah, just normal.
Did anybody ever start calling you Counterpoints, or was that literally just me?
Yes, you and a third of your audience. Yeah, they just call me Counterpoints. Okay, anyways, I'm going to introduce myself. So, my name's Conor. I run a series of channels called Counterpoints. One of them is Counterpoints 40K. It's about Warhammer. It's about science fiction, science fantasy. And then I also run Counterpoints Politics. I live stream there 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. EST. And then that is where the VODs go. And I stream there on Tuesdays. And then I'm also live on a channel called Valor Media Network. VALOR Media Common Spelling Network Common Spelling. If you're interested in anything I talk about in the next few minutes, then please check out any of those channels. Is there an audio issue? I just see chat popping off for like no reason. And he's gone. He left me.
No, I just have to turn my kick
on. Oh, he's turning on his kick stream chat. Okay, I'm chilling. And just to summarize things while we're waiting for Steven to return, so it's not literally just dead air. We woke up today. We went out to a shooting range. I got to fire a Lago Alien pistol, which is an awesome pistol. We had a blast. We got some Wendy's. We got a Frosty. We came here, and now we're yapping. That's what's going on. Now I'm just going to stare awkwardly at the camera until Steven returns. So should I talk or no?
Yeah, you can talk. I think you're on now.
Okay. Wait, so is this a brand new stream?
Continuation.
But do we need to do a new intro because it's going to be a VOD that the editor is going to edit?
Imagine you just woke up. Are you a new you, or is it a continuation of last year? Think about that one.
Well, normally when I wake up after going to sleep, if I met somebody new, I would introduce myself again.
Really?
Yeah, or I would say hello.
Like as a new human?
Not as a new human, but as the old human.
Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself again then, if that's what you really want to do.
Okay, cool. Hi guys, my name's Conor. I'm a science fiction, political, and philosophy nerd, a Marine Corps and law enforcement veteran. I run several channels under the name of Counterpoints. Counterpoints 40K is my most popular channel. It's about Warhammer, which is a science fantasy universe. Also, I run Counterpoints Politics, which is where I do streams and debates and VODs and all that stuff. 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. EST. You can catch me on Counterpoints Politics or Valor Media Network, VALOR Media Common Spelling Network Common Spelling.
So I see you've been making the rounds lately, having some arguments with people.
Oh, yeah, I have.
What's that all about?
That's, I would say the most recent ones that I think are probably the most interesting does have to do with the left, some of our mutual friends or mutual former friends. There's a podcast called Live and Learn, which features Econoboy, Pisco, Josiah from Pondering Politics, and Hutch. And I have been infinitely more on Hutch's side than I've been on the other host's side in recent debates. And we've been talking about that, and it's been a miniature drama in the Twitch and YouTube political community.
What the fuck do you have to do with lib politics? Aren't you a con?
Yeah, but I think that there's 3 conservatisms, Burkean, fiscal, and social. I feel like the Republican Party has betrayed all 3. I think that anybody who actually cares about republicanism as a philosophy should have nothing to do with Donald Trump. And so I've temporarily aligned myself with Democrats, thinking that MAGA is a bigger threat to the Republic than anything else.
How did you get dragged into the arguments on Live and Learn?
Truth be told, I think I'm kind of like friendly with all of them.
Yeah.
I've had friendly debates with Econoboy. I've had friendly conversations and debates with Josiah. I've had friendly combos and debates with Pisco. And I've had friendly debates and combos with Hutch. I like all of them. I just think they're dead wrong on some stuff. What about you? How are your feelings in reference to it? Because I feel like you did a few React segments in reference to that content as well.
I feel like there's a lot of wacky stuff going on.
Yeah, like what?
Just a lot of wackiness.
Steven woke up from a nap, so he might be a little sluggish.
I am. All of you guys are slugs. Have you seen that video?
No.
It's a good video.
Okay.
One of the frustrations I've had recently is I feel like people don't realize how like really fucked a lot of weird shit is.
Yeah.
So with the conservatives, it's a lot of fighting over like I think the Trump stuff is insane. there's like 10 different things that on their own are insane and like all of them together are unbelievable. But I feel like people are forgetting that like communists and socialists is generally like it's not a good thing. But like socialism has been so watered down and conflated with like so many random liberal things that it feels like they can play this weird game of like you've got some of them hiding among the liberals as sock dems and others are like a little more out as dem socks. And then
How do you feel about Scandinavia?
yeah, that's a really good example of like capitalism and liberalism working very effectively. It has basically nothing to do with socialism at all. Unless you want to do like what conservatives used to call socialism back in the 2000s, which is like when the government does stuff.
They still do, which actually pisses me off. So I define socialism as the decommodification of basic human need and workers owning the means of production. How do you feel about that definition?
Yeah, that's a definition that I would probably agree with is like socialism.
Okay.
But a lot of socialists are like, oh, we just want more of like a welfare state.
So do you feel like they're hiding their power level?
Yes.
Okay. Me too.
But it's like it's very fucking annoying, and it's like very telling based on how mad they get at certain people. It's like I thought today, Boy quote tweeted somebody saying that I had a base clip or whatever, and he was like, "Oh no, not base. Actually, socialism is actually really cool, kids. Like, trust me." And I responded to him with a pretty hyperbolic tweet, like expecting him. I figured it was kind of a layup, like he should be able to like shoot it down easily, and then I could have like a more like detailed back and forth. But my question was like, "Hey, I'm just curious. In your ideal socialist society, would you ban all private capital and all opposing political parties?" And his response starts off with like, "Well, yes and no."
Right.
Like. And this is the moderate. Keep in mind that he's like the insanely moderate socialist
he's the nice
type.
one. He's the friendly one.
And even he's on like I would ban, but maybe like kind of ban opposing political parties and ban private owners. It's like, okay, well, that's a little bit insane, but.
This is my frustration with socialism in general, because when I came into Twitch and YouTube politics, there were a whole bunch of creators who were basically like, no, we're not into the scary stuff, right? But in order to achieve the decommodification of basic human needs, so that means food, water, and shelter is guaranteed to every citizen within the country.
Kind of.
Workers owning
and decommodified means that the government is making the choice on all of it. There is no private ownership of any of that. When you talk about decommodifying it, you're saying that the government is going to provide it for essentially for free, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and even if you had some like a public-private hybridized program or whatever, the government would obviously need to extremely regulate that in order to deliver to free at the point of service, right? So then you're talking about vast swaths of the economy coming under government control. And then also workers owning the means of production. That means that private capital no longer exists. So basically, not only does every employee, this is like the more capitalist version, by the way, do they own a guaranteed stock in the company, but if you and I tried to create a company where I agree to work for you for a wage and I don't take stock in your company, the government has to show up and say, no, you are legally prohibited from doing that. And if you engage in this voluntary economic activity, we are going to incarcerate one of you.
Yeah.
And that's where the socialism becomes less friendly to me, where the state that is capable of incarcerating people who engage in free commerce incorrectly, and people like to the tune that we're talking about, and then the government that controls the basic human needs. That's the authoritarian, Orwellian, Darwinian societies that we see in China.
Yeah.
Or the Soviet Union before it collapsed.
Yeah, it's very annoying, like how, like I don't mind people having extreme talking points. I think that's fine, but I just don't like when people pretend like their views are like ultra moderate and super chill. And it's like, no, you're talking about like a very extremely different version of the United States and probably requiring some level of authoritarianism to get there. And yeah, I don't know. It's just been very frustrating lately to see. I can't believe like all the weird cringe socialist shit has kind of like crawled back in without,
any kind of challenge.
Yeah, and then like all the liberals like cave into it immediately, and then I have to wonder like, are they just not aware of like how crazy it is? Like Pisco not knowing what a Marxist-Leninist is, that was like really wacky to me, considering he talks to one for so many of his shows. And then so now I'm like, okay, maybe people just don't know, or maybe people are secretly way more extreme than they're letting on, and I'm just not picking up on that because it's hard to say. Like, yeah, I don't know.
By the way, Aaron, I still want to talk to you about communism at some point, but that because she's an open communist, right? And as far as I know, so socialism, we already defined, we already agree on what it is between you and me. Maybe somebody else has a different definition, but I think they're probably bullshitting. With communism, it's a moneyless, stateless, classless society. That's what I understand communism to be, and it's supposed to be the end point of socialism. So when you say, I am a communist, that could mean that you agree to a whole bunch of like steps. But the ultimate goal in your mind is a society that has no class, has no state, has no money, which to me seems like so utopian as to borderline be like commie gobbledygook that we shouldn't even pay attention to.
Yeah. And I don't even know if like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, I don't necessarily care about
People believing in gobbledygook.
like, if you want to have this as your ideal endpoint, that's fine. But then when you're also like making these arguments of like, oh no, like we need to entertain Hassan as like, or these other types of figures as like part of our political allies. And then these other people are explicitly saying, hey, I'm here to hijack your movement to pretend that I'm one of you, while really I'm trying to destroy you from within the entire time.
Yeah.
And if I had it my way, like almost all of you would be jailed. Like, that's like, this is our ally. This is how desperate things are. Like, people forget that, like, in 2016, Hillary won the popular vote by 3 million votes. In 2020, Biden had the most votes of any presidential candidate in all of
But I've
history.
heard moderates lose all the time.
Yeah, and then it's like, why do we feel like
And
we
Trump
need
is
to...
extreme, so we should be extreme as well.
Yeah, I just don't understand where this idea comes from. They're like, oh no, we need to cater to socialist fucks to like win elections. Like, what? Who?
I actually, so I can understand. This is the part that I can understand. The part that I can understand is that, depending on your perspective, 55% to literally 80 or 90% of the Republican Party has been co-opted by the extreme version of the right-wing idea, right? You could call it crypto-fascist, you could call it Christian nationalist, you could call it whatever you want to call it. But the Republican Party has already been co-opted by their crazies. And so the left wing is making the argument, I think the steelman of this, if I'm being charitable, is that the far left is a very vocal but loud part of the left, but it's probably only 10%, something like that.
Way less, yeah.
Well, so it's even less. So it's not necessarily an electoral threat. So by entertaining these people in alternative media, we're getting the votes because they're ultimately going to vote Democrat, and they're never going to achieve anything anyways, so who gives a shit? That seems to be their line of argumentation. My fear is that they're going to yank the Overton window left.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, I don't even know. But it's hard too because like it's like because they don't even participate electorally. And now that the Mamdani guys won in New York, which I think is fine or whatever, but now like this is like who they're all hitching their wagon to because like, oh my god, look, socialists can win elections.
Right.
And it's like it's so cringe and performative to see Hassan like literally skipping flights to go hang out with that Mamdani guy because he didn't think he was going to win. And then after he wins, Hassan's like, oh, I'm going to go door knock for this guy because he's so cool. It's like, oh my god, just because he won the primary, now you want to show up for him? It's so fucking cringe.
Well, and isn't that because they did, well, and here's an interesting part. Isn't it because they did ranked choice voting? And isn't it because they had like a 3 or 4 way split between a particularly weak, moderate Democratic candidate?
Maybe. I don't know how much the actual voting style played into it. Like, I think it seems like from all accounts, Mamdani ran like a decent campaign, and Cuomo's probably not the guy.
He's a charismatic theater kid.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not sure. Obviously, it just feels exhausting if you're having to fight everybody at once. And then it just feels weird, like as a moderate liberal. And then it feels weird to, I used to complain about this a lot in the Nazi days, in 2016 to 2018. Like fighting through centrists to get to the Nazis always made you look so fucking crazy. And then like I remember like on that JonTron debate I did where this guy's like, yeah, I just don't understand if the Japanese can have a land for Japan, like why can't we have a land for white Europeans? And I'm like we need to make sure that we're ethnically pure or whatever. And it's like,
well,
what the fuck are we like? What are we talking about?
The Asmongold clip the other day though, where he's like, we should take 0 immigrants. And if we take anybody, it should be exclusively Europeans. And I saw you kind of lose your mind on that. But
Yeah.
what's your vibes on that? Because like for me, like Asmongold isn't a Nazi. He's just ignorant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he is just, I think, ignorant. Yeah.
Okay. And then how do you feel about the liberals? So for instance, like we kind of said that Pisco might not know what Marxist-Leninism is or the Vanguard tankies or whatever. But I would say that's one of the things.
Well, I was just saying before, like having to fight through those guys to get to the Nazis before is annoying. But now it's like, now we have all these center left.
Through the liberals in order to get to the tankies.
The quote unquote liberals. Yeah. But then it's like now all of like the center left liberals like, well, I don't know. Maybe we should just like break bread with socialists and like tankies and shit. And it's like, what? Like these people are so unbelievably like the idea of like yeah. And it's like it's just like Hassan is literally bringing on Bad Empanada, who is known as like a crazy doxer, insane fucking person. And then like the other center left libs talk about Hassan, the guy who's like, I want to hijack your political movement and use it for my own like destructive ends, to be like, we should actually work harder with him to bring the Democrats together. Like, you guys are actually fucking retarded. There's just no other way to explain it. This is actual retardation.
But I think their argument would be that it's like a considered clout, cynical thing where, for instance, I think there was a guy in chat who was arguing about this with Pisco, who said to Pisco, and Pisco said that this would be under consideration, that the way that Pisco or other liberals should go on far left podcasts is the way that they would go on Fox News. You're
Yeah,
still
but
gonna
that's
get the
not
big
what
audience.
but that's not what the center lefties are saying. They're saying that these people should be our friends and allies.
Which brings up another point that I'm hoping that we could break bread on, even if it just seems like an agreement fest. I think this is important ground to cover. Who do you think is, okay, MAGA's a bigger threat to America right now, but who do you think hates America more, Rob Noor or Hassan Piker?
Hassan Piker easily.
Well,
That's not even close. Yeah.
but does that feel like a crazy thing to the liberals and the progressives?
Yeah, I don't think they would
Is
agree
your
with it.
chat freaking out about
Oh,
that?
there's like I still have some socialists in there. I'll work my way through them.
Okay, but that's kind of my point is like Rob Noor, he did vote for MAGA, he did some for Trump, he did sweep for all their bullshit, he swept for, he might have said like, oh yeah, January 6th is bad, and then swept for it immediately afterwards. But I don't think he hates the people of the country. I don't think he hates the Constitution of the United States. I don't think he hates anything really about it. I think he actually is kind of lost.
Yeah, or we could argue
He's
they hate,
lost, not evil.
they hate aspects of it that would make you say, like, if I'm arguing with a conservative, like you hate the U.S. because you don't trust in the Constitution, or you don't believe the Constitution, or whatever. But like, it's fundamentally different than like Hassan, I think, who would like clap like a seal to see the U.S. get like nuked or terrorist attacked or whatever.
Sure.
Like, there's a difference between, like, even in the way that they approach it, like conservatives. It's hard to say. Like, conservatives are like ashamed of January 6th. They try to downplay it. They try to say it was instigated by feds. They deny
Oh, it was
what they were
Antifa.
actually there
Yeah,
for.
it was Antifa that
Yeah,
did it.
and then like when Hassan and them talk about like October 7th, they almost speak with reverence for Hamas, or they're like admiring the Houthis that are capturing. Like, could you imagine like if a Republican is watching a video on January 6th, they're watching videos of Ray Epps going, that motherfucker is who instigated them going in, and then Hassan is watching videos of like a Houthi terrorist subhuman fuck hijacking a civilian ship going, these guys are based and awesome. Look at them helping Palestine by doing a terrorist thing. It's like, this is but like, you're laughing and it's like,
No, I'm
they hijacked a ship and you're laughing. You're laughing. No, but like, no, I know you're laughing for a different reason, but like these other guys are like, yeah, but it's like, it's just a thing. But like we're closer politically and ideologically to them. And it's like, motherfucker, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's strictly speaking true.
Well, and this was the headshot in the line of argumentation that I heard was the Richard Spencer argument. So effectively, like Richard Spencer, as far as we know, is still a white nationalist, still a segregationist, still a Nazi or whatever, but he's moderated and moderated in some degrees, and he thinks that voting like Democrat is better than voting Republican for whatever fucking reason.
Sure.
I have no idea, right?
I think his views have changed legitimately a little bit, but I haven't followed him too closely.
Let's just run a hypothetical where a neo-Nazi vote. Let's not even say Richard Spencer, in case there's some complicating variable. Let's say a neo-Nazi votes for a Democrat out of some pragmatic aim. And then let's say that there's some Jordan Peterson, contrarian Tim Pool person who votes for MAGA, but they're otherwise like a decent human being. So I can understand saying that electorally you are enemies because one of them voted for one party, one of them voted for the other party. However, philosophically or ideologically, one of them wants to see the downside, like the fucking destruction of the United States of America, and the other person wants less brown people, I guess. I don't fucking know. But the truth is that, like, even though this person voted the way that you voted, they're still a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, and you wouldn't try to like make an alliance with them, Like I'm like the KKK might vote a certain way, but you see how Donald Trump talks about the KKK, right? He's like, I don't know if they voted for me, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Donald Trump's not out here being like, we love the KKK. We're gonna go ahead and be like,
Let's see how that third term goes. Maybe
who knows
he'll be a
about
little bit more friendly.
Yeah, it's just so fucking wild. And then the yeah, I don't know. It's just like, so I feel crazy sometimes because it's like, and then they play all these like the same games that like the Nazis used to play where they're like, oh no, like we have like AOC and Bernie Sanders and like they're okay, right? And it's like, yeah, but they're already considered like pretty far to the left, especially Bernie. But also you guys all fucking hate those people for not being radical enough. Like all of the leftists, and imagine like do you think AOC is closer to me or Hassan? I think that most of the libs would say Hassan, right? On Live and Learn.
It's
But I think that like, I'm not actually sure right now because the leftists that you guys all want to build a bridge with just spent the last like month doing the rounds on fucking AOC. on fucking like, oh, she's an Israel simp. And by the way, there's like videos from a year ago, of people screaming at her in public like, oh, you're an Israel simp. And it's like, these are the people that like AOC's not even cool with these people. AOC's probably hated by fucking like this might be the only person hated more than Hillary Clinton by the right and maybe some moderates. And like, you want to stable bridge with Hassan? And these guys like, what the fuck?
Again, so I agree with you, but I feel like I have to represent the opposing side just so we're not, knocking down straw men, I guess. But I guess the argument from them is that these people are incredibly vocal online, but they don't have much of an electoral impact. But I don't know if I buy that.
I kind of used to say that, but like, damn, like I said on stream, we looked up those Dearborn, Michigan voting numbers, and woo, it was like a 40-point drop from the last election. It was fucking crazy. I was like, wait a second. These must not be the right numbers, whatever. It was like 68 points for Biden in 2020, and then for Kamala in 2024, it was like 25 or 30 points. It was like insane.
Which, by the way, I can understand that if you had a Democratic guaranteed win, and then you wanted to do a protest vote within that framework in order to say, hey, I don't approve of what you're doing, that would be one thing. But when the general elections are being decided by tens of thousands of votes, and you fucking lose, in what world was Trump ever going to be better on Gaza, Israel, than Kamala?
Ever, no.
But none. And yet there was like, I don't know if it was Cenk Uygur, but it was definitely somebody like Cenk Uygur who was like, I wonder if, Trump is going to outflank
Dude,
Kamala.
don't shut the fuck up. Don't say that. Oh my God. How many different fucking retard libs and leftists said that shit like, oh, Donald Trump is outflanking them on the left now. They weren't, I think Kyle Kalinske fucking said that on an issue. Donald Trump is going to be outflanking the Dems. Like, oh my God. It's actually the most unbelievable. Like, Trump's dick is long enough to wrap around these guys' neck and choke them to death. That's how fucking retarded these points are. I couldn't even fucking believe this. Holy shit.
So the Kyle Bridge isn't getting built back anytime
I can't do it on the... unfortunately, I don't think I can overcome the... I feel like Palestine and Israel, it's the place where all intellectual thought goes to die. Holy shit. It's just the worst.
Hold on. But we do have this problem. I don't know if I want to open up a whole nother can of worms because we're talking about like the lib leftist civil war, which obviously I get a certain amount of schadenfreude out of. But with Israel Gaza, what do you do? Because we can't do anything until the midterms anyways. Even then, we're putting the Democrats back in control, allegedly. And then we have this humanitarian crisis that's actually kind of fucked. So what? Do we just like let Israel slow roll ethnic cleanse Gaza? Like how do you...
We just pray that they finish it in Trump's term so we don't have to worry about it in 2028.
Is that your wildly pragmatic analysis? It's like,
well, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be pragmatic. We got to build bridges with people, even if.
Yeah. What? So you need to build bridges with the Israeli lobby?
If they fucking control everything anyways, wouldn't you want them to be your friends?
Well, I mean, that's what I say. I was like, if the Jews are this powerful, then clearly they're the team to side with.
There you go. True.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So we would bring in the Jews to control us.
Right.
We bring in the blacks and Hispanics to breed our military because they got the warrior genes. And
right.
Asians will come here and do all of our hedge funds and stock trading. And white people will do
quantitatives.
I feel like sometimes, how like the new, like the race realists and everything?
By the way, this is half sarcastic, chat.
Figure out which half. How the race realists are always like... they're smarter now. They don't just say like white people are better.
Right.
I feel like when they talk about people like D&D classes.
Yes.
Like whites are human, so like our traits are like average across the board.
Sure.
And Asians will be like wizards or elves or whatever.
They're like Protoss.
Yeah, and they'll always give those like
they're Protoss or Eldar.
Yeah, like Asians are smarter than us, but like white people have more creativity. So Asians, yeah, and then black people are better warriors, but they have lower like intelligence. And it's really...
so hold on, that super racist video from 5 years ago that said black people were orcs. They were actually onto something.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen this, but
oh yeah, there's a video where somebody talks about how fantasy races are actually racist as fuck, and then he compares black folks to orcs.
Oh shit! Wait.
Yeah. It was like a viral video because it was a progressive... I remember this.
Did D&D start to like change their races and fucking...
I would not be... Chronologically, I'm pretty sure this video essay came out before D&D made them all human.
Yeah, I think I remember watching this, yeah.
Yeah, well, and now D&D orcs are basically like muscly humans with tusks, which is kind of disappointing.
No more evil races.
Well, I think that's where Games Workshop, I think that's where Warhammer does it well, is that the orcs are the only race in the galaxy having fun. Yeah. They love war. They just enjoy it.
You think that's good?
Well, I mean, it could still be racist, but they're more soccer hooligans than they are black people.
Okay.
They talk like British soccer hooligans.
Okay.
Yeah. Football hooligans for the international crowd.
Based.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to? How do you game this? Okay, because I know Tallybots is your favorite orbiter now.
No,
but
not even close.
But she pointed out that if you took the spectrum, because actually, like I drew like a left-right spectrum or whatever, you effectively have like the far left, you have the progressives, then you got the liberals, and then you got whatever remains of the center-right, moderates, neocons, all that stuff. Then you have MAGA, right, on this thing. But when you bend it up to a horseshoe, it seems like the bottom half of it, like the more liberal, libertarian, moderate types, those people could build a coalition against the freaks, but the freaks are so dominant within their left-right binary that they're hard to take power away from.
They're not.
So how do you do that?
Somebody, I'm not gonna be able to find this, but there was.
That feels like my political question.
I feel like there's a good tweet of like I think it was in 2024 or 2023. There's a good tweet where somebody tweeted out and he said that if you're like a center left Dem, then you get social credit by shitting on other left Dems to show that you're like better than them.
Right.
And then if you're on the right, you shit on the Dems to show that like you're like you have allegiance to your
right-wing political tribe.
Yeah. If you're on the far right, obviously you're shitting on the center left because you're the far right. And then if you're on the far left, you also shit on the center left. So it's like every single group has a like prerogative, including the center left, to shit on the center left.
But is that because they're so powerful?
I don't know what the reason is, but it has to change. If you're on the center left, we need to start shitting on people who are far left and on the right. Yeah. And to be a little bit more like take ownership of the positions, I think, instead of this like super
But do you think so for instance, like I wouldn't mind talking about Jordan Peterson at some point, but I agree with like 90% of what 2018 Jordan Peterson said about personal responsibility, psychology, Jungian mythology, all that bullshit. I agree with all that bullshit, and I think that it's good for especially young men. Mm-hmm. Then when it comes to like fiscal stuff, I still believe in redistributive economics because I think that you need to create a state that actually facilitates good citizenry. However, I agree with fiscal conservatives that you can't collapse the society through debt.
Sure.
So there is something to the moderate right where they actually do have points. They've just been co-opted by psychopaths. So what do you do about the moderate right? Because so far it seems like liberals are like, well, we don't need them, fuck them. We'll go after the far left, and that's who we'll shore up our electoral base with. But that drives away the moderates. And right now,
I don't think you need to. Yeah, let the moderate right can go vote with the right. Like they're the right. You don't have to appeal to the right if you're on the left, right? But you have to like, at the very least, you need to shore up your moderate base.
Well, I'm sure you need to shore them up, but I'm just saying like. This for me, I'm not trying to present it as a binary, but I think in some ways it is. If you cozy up to Hassan Piker, you lose me.
Yeah, I would. Well, no offense, but I don't care about you because you're on the right. You should never be voting for my side anyway. But I think you lose also center leftists in that as well.
But I shouldn't be voting for some. Okay, let's pretend for a second that Republicans cared about not collapsing the government through endless debt, not fucking children, not blowing up the Middle East and North Africa. Let's pretend that the Republicans cared about that shit. Let's pretend they cared about the family.
Sure.
I shouldn't be voting for somebody who's going to destroy the fucking republic.
Sure.
So where do I go? Because if you're saying liberals don't need to care about the center right at all, then you guys might run Mundami or the Live and Learn boys are right. You should run the far left because
if we could have a conversation about that, about how all of our center left is so unified. Now we have to figure out if we want to appeal more to the moderate right or far left. That would be a great conversation. But right now, the center left doesn't even have an identity. That's the issue. So I'm not saying that like they should never, ever, ever try to appeal to like more moderate or maybe perhaps even center right voters. I'm saying that we're not even there yet. Like there's not even a cohesive center left identity. Like everybody keeps saying.
What would be the center left identity in your ideal?
In an ideal world.
Yeah, because shouldn't it just be mixed economy capitalism?
Somebody would take a time machine and
liberalism?
They would pull back Biden in his prime, 60.
Okay.
When he was 6 years old.
Back when he was still hanging out with KKK guys? But it's still friendly with the blacks?
Something like that. It would probably be some hybrid fucking...
Clinton, but he doesn't have sex with kids?
Like a Hillary plus Obama plus Buttigieg plus plus AOC-ish,
but
like more left than they were before. Yeah.
What is that? What's the sales pitch? Because oftentimes when I hear the far lefties, if we're talking about the vanguard and the live and learn criticisms of the Democratic establishment, the Democratic establishment is viewed as corporate, doesn't care about the working class, doesn't care about workers' rights, doesn't care about the people who are suffering in the United States, and effectively all they do is they just play kick the can with America's problems.
Yeah, I think that the ideal version of the center left is something to do with the abundance book. I think the ideal version.
I love the abundance shit too, but then everybody tells me that I'm being co-opted by.
That's because most people criticizing it are the far lefties, and they pretend they're not, but they're far left, and they're giving socialist critiques of it. But like the ideal, I think, is to recognize that the United States of America has created more wealth than any country in the history of the planet. It is on an unprecedented level. We have so much wealth here, but we need to figure out how to get it around to everybody more. Yeah. And that doesn't necessarily mean like tax the rich and take all their money, but it means like we have to go back to being able to build things that we're proud of and happy of, right?
I'm riding a train tonight. A public transit system.
Our infrastructure is like embarrassing here, and I don't mean that in like our infrastructure, like the broad whatever kind of way. I just mean like we don't really have much cool shit in the United States that like what like if somebody's coming to the U.S., like what would you brag about? Like, oh my God, you got to see
the Bass Pro Pyramid,
the ball in Vegas.
No, I mean, like,
but unironically, actually, the ball in Vegas is actually it's a cool idea.
Dope.
It's a cool thing, but like, why don't we need like more of. We need more cool shit that we're like, oh my God, it's so awesome that we built like like when people talk about like the bullet train in Japan and shit, why can't we have stuff like that here? We should be able to do stuff like that. We should be able to do cool shit. I don't just mean public transport, but I mean like anything like cool monuments.
But Elon Musk is the only person who talks about shit like that.
Yeah, I know. And it was and somehow he got fucking sucked away into the crazy world too. But yeah, like electric cars and the rockets and everything. I think a lot of what Elon, the businesses.
I mean, Starship's dope.
Yeah,
moving
I agree. That's cool shit.
Pounds.
That is cool
the world
shit.
In 90
catching
minutes.
The rocket and everything. I think it's really fucking
dope.
awesome. Yeah.
Oil rigs.
Yeah, we need to go back to recognizing that we have cool shit.
Yeah.
The B-2 bombers are very cool.
Yep. B-21 Raiders.
We need to recognize we have a lot of shit here. It's not just a depressing hellhole. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
I was reminded of a happier time. I watched a wonderful movie called The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, I was wondering where you were going with that. Okay, yeah. Okay.
And it reminded me of like how the biggest
Stanley Tucci?
The biggest stuff that we were obsessed with in like the 90s and the 2000s, it was like, oh my God, we have all these stable jobs with all this income and wealth, and we're so bored and purposeless in life. We have nothing to do.
Fight Club. I don't know if I want to peek out the mic, but I was like, the whole plot of Fight Club is like, I have a stable job and high income, and I'm so fucking bored. Let's destroy everything. Fuck.
Yeah, and that was like the theme of that generation. There were so many movies based on this on this concept, and it's like it's not like that.
God, I love that.
That wealth didn't disappear. Like we still have like a ton of stuff like this, but for some reason we just aren't recognizing it. So we need to like take credit for what we've done well, and then focus on doing some stuff better and like help people that are poorer and.
Well, hold on. So, but then. The argument, because bear in mind, hi LB, if you watch this, hi LB.
Hold on, why people are saying something? Did you knock your mic out or something?
Hello. Can you hear my breathing? I don't know why that
would help. I can't hear anything, so.
You can or cannot?
I can't. I don't have headphones on. How could I fucking hear you talking right now?
Okay, well, can they say that they are hearing me or not? Can they say that we're good? Can they give us a thumbs up or some sweeping emojis, perhaps?
I can never mind. I can't tell. Too many people are hearing me now, so okay, go ahead.
All right. Well, should I just speak loud enough?
Nope, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So LB, far lefty or whatever, she's saying that what the neoliberals are going to do, in her opinion, is what they've always done, which is effectively cutting through regulation and red tape. And yes, that might get through a few infrastructure projects through, but then what they're also going to do is they're just going to leave the working class high and dry. So what's your argument where we've had a federal minimum wage that's, I don't know, is it still at $7.25 or some shit?
Hey, the answer is not minimum wage.
Minimum wage sucks. I would ban a minimum wage and bring back labor, but I don't know. What's your
I mean, like, there's not even no, very few people even work minimum wage jobs, right? I think it's like less than 3% of the country is on minimum wage, so I don't know how much boosting it would even help the country.
Yeah, but like if you start out at $7.25 and then you get bumped up to 8 or 10, are you really that much better off than a minimum wage worker?
Probably not that much. Maybe it would help. I'm
assuming Walmart people make between $10 and $15 an hour right now, but I'm assuming because of inflation, it's probably the equivalent of making $7 an hour 10 years ago.
I don't know if it's gotten quite that bad, but like the first thing you have to do is we have to have like a realistic assessment of where we're at too. And like that requires like a realistic assessment of what the world was also like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because like you have people, and like I don't know if people will admit this, but like, you have like, it feels like the average kid who is like 20 years old thinks that the second they come out of college they should be able to like buy a house, and that all of their parents and grandparents could do that. And it's like, no, this was like,
Well, so okay, maybe you can actually hit me with some facts and logic.
Yeah.
But in the post-war economic boom, weren't our grandparents' generation or parents' generation, depending on how old your parents are, didn't they have a decent opportunity to buy a house, buy a car, and support a family?
Not
with
really,
either
no.
1 or 1.5 incomes.
no, it's like you can look at like every number and everything. It's just like a total myth. There's just like, there's no, I know it seems not
Was
true,
it
but
just
there's,
middle
like,
class white people?
yes, it always was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like the equivalent
Well,
of like,
my parents
have
were
you ever
middle
watched
class
like,
and white, so you know.
have you watched The Big Bang Theory?
I will never willingly watch that TV show, but I'm aware of its existence.
Have you watched Sex in the City? Have you watched any sitcom
I've watched Sex in
ever?
the City.
There's
Yeah.
like always like the struggling artist type or like young person.
Yeah.
And then when you watch these sitcoms, they have like a fucking high rise,
Yeah, like
two-bedroom
Friends,
loft
the TV show Friends.
or whatever. Yeah, and it's like
They have a apartment over a coffee shop in Manhattan,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all fucking wages.
yeah, and it's like how and it's like it feels like sometimes people look at a sitcom from 30 years ago and they were like, oh my god, that's what life was like back then. But I mean, like you're
Sure.
old enough now, right? When I'm guessing when you were 18, how many years older than me are you?
How many what?
How many years older than me are you? You're like
1 or 2.
Oh.
I'm not that much older.
okay. I'm 36. When
I
I
look
was
substantively older, but
no,
I'm
that's
not.
okay. You don't. I wouldn't push you a day over 29.
Thanks.
Yeah. when I was like out of high school, like if you had minimum wage, you needed a roommate or two if you wanted
Sure.
to get an apartment. You're
Yeah,
never
yeah, yeah.
you're never living on your own on a minimum wage job ever.
but that's the thing is like, so for instance with me, I don't know how this okay, as an example, I'm going to use specific numbers. In 2010,
69.
what's that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Yes. In 2010,
Yeah.
I was making 10 to 12 bucks an hour selling cell phones for an AT&T franchise store. The corporate people made better money. I made shitty money. But I was able to get a roommate, and I think my rent was $1,200 a month. And then I had one roommate.
Okay.
And
oh,
we-
1,200 total. You split it.
Total,
600.
and we
Okay.
split it. So we were spending 6, 7, maybe like 8 with utilities, right? Then I got a very cheap car, which was $200 a month. It was a Nissan Versa, which was only $10,000, so it was $200 a month. And then my insurance was only $200 a month. Add in cell phone, food, alcohol, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I could get by on effectively $10 an hour, and I did survive my college years. However, what I would say is, at least what I've heard, is that some of the rents in the same places that I used to stay in, $2,000 a month, $2,500 a month, and that increase in 30 to 40% in living cost. If I was making it 10 to 12 bucks an hour, I would have been fucked. I would have done nothing. Like I basically would have gone to work and come home. And I think that's what a lot of people are pissed about when you're talking about, at least what I hear from the working class, is effectively you're just expect to work, go home, work, go home, work, go home. And that's all you're supposed to do. You can't save for a kid. You can't save for a down payment for a house. You're always a bill behind. You're always 30 days late. You're always something. Something's going wrong.
I feel like there's like a conflation of a whole different care, because it's not like you mentioned like
I'm saying being working class fucking sucks. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, sure, but then like the things that people mark to say fucking sucks, like what you just brought up there at the end about like, oh, like having kids, not like wealthy people are having all these kids and like poor people.
Well, this is my advice to fucking working class schmoes who say that they can't fucking pay their bills. I say just be poor. Have kids. Who gives a shit? It's fucking amazing. I love having kids.
Yeah.
Are you banning someone?
I don't know why people are saying my mic is being weird.
Your mic now.
I guess, yeah. How
Can
do
they
you do
hear
the, what's the stressed guy emote? How do you type that in chat?
Stressed guy emote?
The guy with the forehead who's going like,
I don't know. Type in veins. I don't know, bro. I don't use emotes. I'm a boomer like a motherfucker.
There's no way I can like click on my iPad to tell me the emote name. Oh, it's don't say it. Thank you.
Oh, are they doing don't say it because are they agreeing with my brokey takes, or are they agreeing with
No.
your
Because
Richie
the
Rich takes?
mic is cutting out, and they're like, "Don't say it," and it's like, just say something if it's cutting out instead of spamming the retarded fucking email. But that's okay. I just nuked them all. So
You just fucking smashed him out of chat.
yep, get fucked.
All right. Well, the point is, okay, so you're saying that we need to differentiate some points. Okay, so let's differentiate some points.
So like, it's not like women that are making a ton of money are like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna go have a kid," right? They just like don't, right?
Sure.
And then you bring up the like, "Oh, it feels like people just have to work and go home and work and go home," and it's like, that is true, but I feel like that's what a lot of people just kind of like want to do now. Like, if they don't want to go out and do anything, they just want to go home and go on their computers or their cell phones.
I only disagree because I have been given the privilege of like a little bit of extra cash, and that extra cash I've turned into side hustle shit.
Okay.
I bought equipment for YouTube stuff. I bought a 3D printer. I bought guns. I bought ammo, all that kind of stuff. Like the kind of ammo that you and I buy, I've loved firearms my entire life. But the truth is that a cheap firearm is $500. A cheap, reliable firearm is $500, and then ammo is $50 to $100. So if you're talking about actually training with a firearm, you're talking about $50 to $100 a month, and some people just don't have that. So that sucks.
Sure. I guess the problem is that I just don't think that if you everybody get an extra $100 a month, that they would all be picking up hobbies. I don't think that's exactly what's going on. It doesn't seem to be the case. Like, it doesn't.
Do you feel in charge?
Do you?
No.
Okay, where were we?
I think we were just talking about how bad it sucks to be working class or middle class in America.
Oh. I just don't.
And you were saying, suck it up, buttercup.
People have this
It
thing where
sucks to suck.
they romanticize the fuck out of the past, and it's just not as romantic as they thought it was.
Sure, I like air conditioning. I like large screen televisions.
Yeah, but not even that. Just that, like, not everybody could afford a home. There's this myth that a single man working a full-time job could have 3 kids going to school with a wife at home and 2 cars and a nice house. And like, some people could, but those were exceptional people. That was the norm. And I think people think that that was the norm in the past.
Tell you, it's a narrative that I've repeated.
I have it. I used to as well, a lot on my stream. But then I like looked up the home ownership. Wait, why is this happening?
Are we assaulted again?
The mixer's being weird. It's just my audio interface.
Hello, my name is Steven. I like Keebler fudge stripe cookies and expensive firearms. Are we okay?
Probably not. I think Dan is coming into the studio and sabotaging my shit.
Okay. Well, if nobody's criticizing the audio issues for at least the next minute,
Go ahead.
the narrative is that we fought World War II.
Yeah.
The rest of the industrialized world was destroyed. The United States was in a unique position to provide goods and debt to the developing and developed world. We did so in the middle of the century, and as a result, there was a shitload of jobs that paid well through the middle of the century. Then what happened was, because there was all this generosity related to the New Deal and also just the standards of living related to the middle class, that lasted till the 70s or 80s. And then when we experienced like stagflation and some economic stuff, fiscal conservatives like Reagan introduced, deregulation. And so the deregulation was really good for a short period of time because it loosened up a bunch of capital. But then also the haves became incredibly wealthy, and the have-nots got incredibly fucked.
I think people
That's
thought
the
that
post-war narrative.
the post-war stuff was so cool, but that's because we were literally coming out like the Great Depression and shit.
Well, it could have been a fluke of human history.
Well, no, like compared to like Great Depression era,
Yeah.
well, it was good.
Yeah, because you had a house, and you had a car, and you had a job, and you were
And you
able to
weren't
feed your
dying.
family, and you weren't dying. Yeah, sure. But at the same time, like, is this the best we can do? Is working 7...
No, we can do better. But I think sometimes people take for granted the cool things that we have,
Sure.
and they want to do everything that Europe is doing, but they don't want to have a European style of living. So like everybody's like, I want to have good public transport and socialized healthcare. And
But they don't want to
be
pay
able
55% taxes.
Yeah, and that nobody wants to pay taxes.
Sure.
Because like, for better or for worse, the bottom half of this country basically doesn't pay much at all in terms of taxes. And people don't realize
There's a
like
problem there.
when you go to like Scandinavian countries and shit, if you earn 40,000 euro a year, you're paying like 15,000 euro in taxes, like for real. Not like this is all my taxes and all of it gets deducted because of some standard deduction. Like everybody in those countries is paying taxes. And in the United States, if you make less than like 60,000, you're not really paying much. If you're making less like 30,000, like you're basically paying nothing in taxes.
But so here's my question though. Is that a function of, okay, we're being so generous, or is that a statement that there's no meat to cut off of this bone?
No, it's just people just need to realize you can't have everything.
I don't want everything. I just want my kids to go to a decent school.
That's fine.
And I want...
That's fine. You just need to be cognizant of that.
Well,
I'm just saying that, like, you can't have all the cool socialized shit and all the healthcare and everything else, and also still, like, I want to own a house when I'm 25. In most places in Europe, at least in any big cities, nobody's buying homes until they're, like, ready to retire and leave. Like, if you're living in any of these big cities, you're not, like, hoping to get a home. You know?
Is that a function of the, like, high tax stuff, or is that a function of their urban density and other issues?
I don't care what it's a function of.
I care.
No, I'm just saying you can't have all of it. You have to pick and choose. So when they're saying things like, oh, like, America sucks because Europeans have this, and it's like, okay, Europeans also, you know, live in houses and apartments that are like 1/10 our fucking size, okay? They're like moving around these places.
I feel like that's a little bit of an exaggeration.
It's like barely, it's a little bit of exaggeration, but not like much.
Well,
Look, somebody looking at this wonderful thing for average house size in square feet. Look at that. Look at how blue that is, and look at how green and pussy that is.
Oh, well, I mean, Europeans are
Trust
small.
me, guys. They're small people.
They are small
They are
people.
small people.
Right. Okay. But the point is that, like, there are things that Americans would like. So for instance, I'm just going to be real. I pay for my health insurance. Health companies send me bills all the time for, like, if I have to go to the emergency room with my child, or if I have to actually have, like, a pretty severe surgery. And so I'm still getting bills for, like, thousands of dollars. And I will literally call them and say, like, hey, I can't pay this. Like, my options are I'm paying my bills or I'm paying you. And if I have an option between paying bills or paying medical debt, I'm not paying you. Go fuck yourself. And you know what happens 90% of the time? They stop calling. Because what they're doing is they're hoping that people who can afford this exorbitant amount of cost will pay. And then that's offsetting all the fucking wages, like me. I'm a dumbass wagee who can't pay. Like, if I'm picking between groceries and medical debt, I'm picking groceries. Don't you think that's, like, a little stressful for, like, a working class family or middle class family to actually, like, be receiving bills from institutions that, like, are critical to your life, and you just can't afford to pay them, so you tell them to fuck off?
Sometimes people just need to die.
Well, I mean, that's true.
No, listen.
But I like my kids.
One issue okay, so this is a different topic, but okay, hold on. Let me just put a pin in the last thing. I'm just saying Americans want all the best that America has to offer, but then they also want the best that Europe has to offer. And there's trade-offs.
Because we want to be the best. We want to be number one.
There's trade-offs to all these things. You can't have all these things. Okay?
Well, I mean, I think most Americans say, like, B-21 Raiders and B-2 bombers and F-35s are fucking sick, but realistically, we could cut 10 to 20% out of the DoD. Now, I meme on that because I like the DoD.
Hold on. Wait, can you rephrase what I'm saying?
Say it again.
I'm just saying that
you can't have it all.
if you want to build on other things, that's fine, but you're probably going to have to cut from somewhere.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
We're running a $6 trillion budget. There's $2 trillion in excess. 3/4 of the budget, I think, is already dedicated to entitlements. I think it's actually like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and something else is like, I don't know, 60 or 70% of our budget.
Sure. And interest to the debt, yeah.
And interest to the debt. And then I think that the remaining third, 1 trillion of it is DOD. And so there's probably 100 billion to 200 billion there that we could probably cut and still be the most fierce military on the planet.
Probably, yeah.
And then the rest of the shit, I have no idea what the fuck to think about it, because it's like Rand Paul gets on stage and he's like, we're spending $200,000 on quails and the effects of cocaine. And I'm like, I have no idea why we're studying quails on cocaine.
Okay.
So
have you ever seen a quail on cocaine?
I haven't. It might be very cool. I don't know if it's worth $200,000 of taxpayer money. Now,
okay, wait, stop. Okay, okay, cutting from the budget and all that is fine. Like, I'm sure there are things that we can cut there.
But we're never going to, because nobody wants to.
Sure.
Because they want, like, Lockheed and the DoD, which I love, by the way. They want to put a laser on a C-130 gunship.
Sure.
And I want them to put a laser on a C-130 gunship. But when it comes time to be like, hey, are we going to kick 10 million poor people off of fucking Medicaid, or are we going to cut the laser on the C-130 gunship? We kick 10 million people off of Medicaid. Nobody in fucking Medicaid wants that shit.
Okay, but I'm not talking about getting Medicaid. I'm talking about, like, people living, like, fuller, happier lives or whatever, not just like the bare bones, like the poorest of the poor getting healthcare. I'm talking about like what are Americans like aiming for. I agree that like obviously we can do more for programs like that, but all I'm saying is that there are trade-offs to different things that you want in life. And we have to accept that if there are some things that Europeans have that they enjoy, it probably means we have to give a few things on our side that we enjoy. That's all I'm saying. There has to be like a balance and an acknowledgement there.
Okay, now I'm going to steel man Trump. God help me on this fucking podcast. The one thing that I actually appreciate about Trump, even though he's doing it in the most incompetent and stupid way possible, and I want the audience to hear me when I say that he's doing it in the most incompetent and stupid way possible, is that he's telling the Europeans that they need to be responsible for their own security. That's one thing that I fundamentally agree with.
Okay.
They're modern nations. They make billions of dollars. They have their own budgets. They can run their own shit. They have peer technology to us, and we'll always back them militarily. But up until the Ukrainian war, most of these countries were not running 2% for NATO. They need to be running that, and we should be able to take our foot off of the gas when it comes to European security. Europeans should handle European security.
Sure, maybe. Although, I mean, there's pros and cons to us being like kind of everybody's dad when it comes to security stuff.
I like
right?
being everybody's dad, but can we be like, I don't know, like the chill dad?
Sure.
Okay.
What were we talking about before? You wanted to go, oh. Another problem is that like Americans want like the latest and greatest of everything too.
Sure.
And I think that that contributes to a lot of high costs and stuff, but we don't take any, we'll get all the cons of it being more expensive. We'll complain about it, but nobody will acknowledge the benefits of any of it. So you brought up like healthcare earlier,
sure,
right? And my go-to example for healthcare is always going to be insulin. People will constantly talk about how expensive, products for diabetics have gotten, and then they will point to the fact that insulin was, released off patent, or it was never even patented when it was first discovered, like 7,000 years ago, and that's true. But the insulin that existed back then was dog shit, pig insulin that sucked ass. It was horrible. Okay. The insulin that we have now is 1 billion times better, and it's more expensive. But people will complain about the cost of it, but they won't give any credit to any of the benefits. So we get locked in this world where our standard of living is increasing, but people are still complaining about fucking everything. And it's like, why can't we be a little bit grateful for any of if we can't take credit for anything that we do well, and then we just shit on everything for being too expensive or whatever. Look at consoles and video games are a really great example. Yeah. The fact that video games are still $60 a piece. Do you see the budget for the GTA 6?
Some of them are almost like a fucking, well, I don't know about GTA 6.
This is almost like a GDP of a country. I think it's
plural billions.
Am I crazy for saying it was over 100? Hold on.
I know there's this game that's been in production for a decade.
Okay, sorry, hold on now.
Star Citizen.
I'm thinking in the hundreds of millions. Okay.
Yes.
The budget for GTA 6, the real budget is $1 to $2 billion
for GTA 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, but dude, that's kind of where for me it's like Grand Theft Auto 6 is sick, but what the fuck? But hold on. So what is your point with?
My point is that when we bought. What I'm saying is that hold on,
anybody denies that we have
everybody denies that bullshit. Everybody says everything sucks constantly, right? People complain about for video games. They complain about DLCs. The games suck today. Blah blah blah. Right? So a long time ago, right? So did you ever play any of the Final Fantasies?
No.
Final Fantasy VII's budget, adjusted for inflation, apparently, would be around $60 million. Okay,
right.
That game cost $60, I think, to buy at a store.
Sure.
And GTA 6 will cost $60 probably when it comes out.
But bro, I don't give a fuck. This is also another thing, though, is Rockstar can do what Rockstar does because they've created a successful franchise over the past 2 or 3 decades. But I'm just going to tell you from me to you, I don't give a fuck if my beer bottle fizzles inside a video game. I don't give a shit about that. I want a good story, a good plot, good narrative.
That's fine if that's what you're saying. I'm just saying that we're getting so much more. Nobody gives credit for anything related to how much more we're getting, and then people are just complaining and saying everything sucks.
I don't know if I agree with you. Okay, so I agree with you that in general, because of social media, there is a pall on America where we are constantly not only self-criticizing, we are nihilistic about the achievements of the modern world.
Yeah.
And also, it pays to be nihilistic because you're effectively like a doom cult prophet. This is something that I actually believe that Hassan Piker, Nick Fuentes, and Vosh all do, is that they're effectively like high priests in apocalyptic doom cults. Okay. So Hassan Piker is selling the revolution. Nick Fuentes is selling segregation and establishment of a Christian theocracy. Vosh is selling American collapse and the establishment of like anarcho-communist communes. That's how they're selling their message, is through doom and gloom. So I'm not going to admit that, or I'm not going to lie that there's definitely that part of American culture. However, don't we also recognize good art? Didn't you almost fucking cry when you saw whatever that fucking Korean movie was about everything anywhere all at fucking once or whatever the fuck? Don't we praise like the new Batman and shit? Weren't Marvel movies before everybody got cynical? Wasn't everybody praising that shit?
Do you feel like that? Do you feel like that is the overwhelming amount of the culture right now? Is
No,
we
of
are
course
praising.
not.
Okay, because like everything they were saying is great. But I feel like most people, if you'd ask today, would say like, "Oh, the United States is fucked. We're a third world country. We don't have anything. All of our citizens are suffering."
Weirdly enough, I hear
Everything
that
is
from upper middle class white people on the right,
always
on the right way.
Yeah, but it's like
Well, that's because I see Hispanics at the grocery store.
sure, yeah. But do you see the issue where it's like we can't take credit for any of the good things we've done? We constantly shit on everything this country's doing, and then we're saying like we need to be more like Europe and everybody else, and it's like we're not even willing to give up what we have, but we don't. People don't even realize what we have, and it's just like everything is like it's like you're in an unwinnable situation. You can't even understand the world that we're in before we're starting to say everything sucks and we need to change it all.
Okay, the only reason why I'm pushing back on you in the slightest is because I agree that this is completely like on. This is very common, especially on social media, especially in public conversation. Even when you're talking about like bars, go to the bar and chat shit with your friends, they'll be cynical about a lot of stuff. However, I think this is a product of social media. And also, I think it's profitable to be a cynical piece of shit. I think it's profitable to be so. And so people are. The reason why doomsday cults are virally successful on the internet is because it's, if I just fucking talk to Chad about how fucking America, or how America is so fucking amazing, and I love all this technology and I love all this shit, I'm going to get an infinitesimally smaller audience than if I'm a cynical doomsday cultist. So I think this is a product of our fucking brains.
It might be.
Media.
I don't know what exactly, like we can talk about all the different things that cause it, maybe. But the,
Well, I mean, you're bringing up a bunch of problems. I just don't know what the fucking solution is. I mean, I try to be a part of the solution by not being a cynical piece of shit, but...
Yeah, that's a different conversation. I'm just saying right now, like, this is an issue. That people think that every single thing in this country sucks. And
Right.
so how are we supposed to have a... That's why you have, like, for the center left giving way to the far left. They're like, oh, shit, maybe we need to abandon capitalism and we need to go to, like, socialism to do everything amazing. And then they get these examples like, oh, look at Scandinavia and look at all these other countries. And it's like, the things that made these countries great had nothing to do with socialism. It had to do with like, not to be a dick rider, but like free market capitalism and liberalism.
And industrialization and industrialism and entrepreneurialism.
The ditching of the weird monarchs.
You had to have a vibrant economy to tax.
Yeah.
In order to create the generous welfare state.
Yeah.
Okay,
and what you just said, ironically enough, is literally exactly what Marx says, that a thriving capitalist country has to precede a socialist one because you need capitalism to build the economic productive forces for the socialist to eventually co-opt.
Okay. This is where the center-right has an advantage, and this is part of the reason why you were kind of skeptical about a center-left, center-right coalition, but this is part of the reason why I'm passionate about it. I think the center-right has some things that are fundamentally correct when it comes to masculine messaging. And what I mean by that is like 2018 Jordan Peterson or whatever. Are you going to fix capitalism? Am I going to fix capitalism? Are we going to solve the cynicism in social media? Absolutely the fuck not. But can you wake up? Can you organize your room? Can you wash your balls? Can you brush your teeth? Can you try to get a job? Can you try to work that job hard? And can you try to find your life partner and have a family? And the answer is that all of that is incumbent on you as an individual. And even if life sucks, guess what? By the time fucking Bernie Sanders and AOC save you from the horrors of capitalism, you're already fucking dead. So that's where I feel like the center-right, through an individualist analytical lens, has an advantage. But you shit on the fucking center-right.
Yeah, I mean, they can have that advantage, but the reality is like that doesn't help anybody. That's like,
it helps me, or helped me, past tense. It also helps
you
plenty
can
of
say
young
that,
men.
but you probably didn't need the help. Or you think
Bullshit.
you did. That's fine. But this is the equivalent of going to a guy who's like, I can't get any girl to... Hold on. Let me try this again. I can't get any girl to like me. I don't know what I need to do. And then some other guy's like, bro, you ever thought about just being yourself? Oh, I don't know. Let me think about it. I'll try that one. Like, there are some people who have the mind to be self-driven. There are some people who have the mind to be self-driven or to figure out all their shit or whatever. But the reality is, most of life is pretty on rails. It's not a
Holy
coincidence
shit.
that when you go to Japan
Dude, I'm
and you
arguing
talk
with
to
my
young
dad.
Japanese people, that all of them are fairly similar. It's not crazy that when you go to Sweden and you talk to all the young people, they have a pretty similar culture. When you go to America, depending on the city you talk to young people, they have a pretty similar culture. Like, we tend to be a product of our environments. It's very rare that you can just tell a bunch of people, like, why don't you just-
but the nature of those environments matter.
Yes, the environments are very important.
So should we create pro-social environments where men
I agree.
mentor other men?
Yeah.
Where we encourage each other to wash each other's balls and
Well,
be pro-social? Well, not
based.
wash each other's
No,
balls.
that's okay. Based.
Okay, you should wash your balls, brush your teeth, lift weights 3 to 5 times a week. You should eat your macros, and you should try to be like, you should try to pursue like
I'm
a
just
career
saying-
that's
I'm just saying, telling
hold on,
people to,
hold on.
like, figure
But
shit
that-
out, it's not
but
very
that
effective.
pro-social, okay, but
Yeah.
that pro-social reinforcement is part of the environmental structure. And this is one of the things that really frustrates me. I was actually having the opposite conversation with my father this morning. He was saying, effectively, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this out loud, but he was effectively saying, like, I'm going to abandon all the minorities. Because fuck them. They build bad communities. They destroy themselves with drugs and gang violence and all this shit. Why the fuck as a middle class white man should I give a shit about what's happening in the black community? They're all doing it to them fucking selves. And what I told him, which I'm going to tell you right now, is obviously people are a product of their environment, but you don't just give up on creating a more pro-social environment.
Okay, well,
Part of that is mentoring. Part of that is
sure.
talking to young men.
Congratulations, you co-opted my argument in the middle of that. You piece coded me there. You stole my argument in the middle of it. You gave it back to me, and you presented your own. So,
Yeah,
but
but
you
you
know
said-
what? I agree with you. We should
But you
create
said
better environments for people.
You said bootstraps was bullshit.
That's not bootstraps.
Yes, it is. If there's an option between saying, let's fix the environment versus you have to fix it your fucking self, then you need to have almost like a synthesis of those two fucking things.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm just saying, you're like, we told them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and it worked. It's like, wow, how'd you do that? Well, we trained a whole bunch of teachers to give good education to young students to teach them how to pull themselves up. Well, okay, you just changed the environment. Yeah.
No, but you're acting
I don't
like
disagree with you.
Chicken and egg thing.
I don't
but it's
disagree with
not.
you. I'm just saying that, like, I agree. Sure.
Excellent.
If bootstraps are like that, then those are good bootstraps.
Okay, cool. Okay, hold on. Let's. I just want to cement our agreement. A school resource officer arresting and throwing kids into jail or prison.
Based.
Fuck can fuck them over.
Okay.
Versus mentoring those kids can change
be
their
better
lives.
thieves.
Fuck
And then you got people like Hassan being like,
yeah, stealing's base, lol.
do you know what those kids do when they steal the Nikes out of the truck? You know what they don't show
Commit
you?
felonies?
It's when they redistribute those back in the neighborhood.
Back to the neighborhood. It's reparations.
Wait, you know Hassan said that, right? That's
Stolen Nikes are reparations?
No, they take them back to the neighborhood and they redistribute it to the people in the
Right,
neighborhood.
and then they create like a microeconomy. That's good because it's outside of the realms of the capitalist bosses.
I'm just saying that's what Hassan said.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot and a tool. Oh, well, and by the way, hold on. Let me say that something that's frustrating for Pisco. Pisco will be like, yes, fuck Hassan. He's a fucking piece of shit. Fuck him, blah, 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 blah. But then when you're talking about like, well, should liberals spend any energy fighting the schizo left? And he's like, well, MAGA's worse, and we need to focus, for the midterms or whatever. But it's like, for me, you're just going to allow lefties to yank it.
We're supposed to be infighting right now.
Yeah, aren't we a year and a half out? So
Exactly.
now is the time for infighting.
Why can't we gulag them before they gulag us?
What's the verb that you're using?
Gulag.
Oh,
It's when they throw you into the rock camps where you just hit
I don't
rocks all day.
know. Can we have liberal gulags? Liberal re-education?
No.
Can we kidnap Hassan Piker and then put him into can we do Clockwork Orange and hold his fucking eyes open and make him watch Michael Bay Transformers movies?
What would that do?
It's the most dude. It has fucking Megan Fox and it has the military-industrial complex blowing up fucking robots. If that shit doesn't make you American, I don't think anything.
Don't they
will.
lose in the end though? Don't they need the Transformers?
Well, right, but then that's the liberal messaging, is you have to tolerate the aliens.
Because they're immigrants,
Right.
like Superman.
Yeah.
Did you watch that new movie?
No, but what's cool though is Ben Shapiro took a shit on it, and then everybody was like, okay, this actually means it's good. And then Tim Pool saw it, Phil Labonte saw it, and somebody else saw it who would normally have every reason to hate it, and they loved it. They thought it was great.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet. Wait, have you seen?
Have you seen Michael Bay Transformers though?
Yeah, duh.
Have you seen Megan Fox?
Yeah.
Have you seen a C-130 gunship blowing up robots?
I don't remember that part.
Oh, dude, that's one of the best parts.
That was in Transformers 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have the guy from Fast and Furious calling in an airstrike from a C-130 gunship onto Decepticon robots. It's fucking sick.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think if we kidnap Hassan and we use the Clockwork Orange eyeball devices, and then we just make him watch that for like 48 hours, he'll be a model citizen.
Do you think that Bad Empanada's on the Epstein list?
I don't think he's rich or powerful enough to be on that one. He's probably on a different pedophile list, but not that one.
Okay. Based.
Right.
What else do you want to talk about?
Well, hold on. So what, in summary, we did lefty infighting, live and learn, kidnapping Hassan, it sucks to be working class. Actually, Jordan Peterson, while we're at it, why not? I've heard repeatedly that you have regretted your conversation with Mr. Peterson because you went too soft.
Oh, yeah, I should have went way fucking harder.
You should have shit on him way harder?
You should have left that meeting crying.
Yeah?
That should have been an unpublished episode for how humiliated he was after that.
Okay. So I watched the first half. I didn't really have a problem with the first half. I thought he was like psychoanalyzing you a little bit. He was asking you about your fucking upbringing and all that bullshit. And then he previously described you as like Luciferian. So,
yeah, he likes that word.
Well, I like Luciferian too. Do you know the reference for it?
Lucifer?
Yeah. But Lucifer is the guy who thought that he could be a better god than God.
Based?
So he worshipped him. Well, that's why he's calling you Luciferian.
Oh, I think I can be a better God than God?
Yeah.
I mean, if God is making people like Jordan Peterson, I can probably do a better job than him. Yeah.
Well, see, you're just.
I'm just saying. Okay, he's set a pretty low bar.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, all right. Then I guess I'll just bring this up. So there was one thing where you were talking about you didn't understand the dragon threat thing, and this was like a conversation between Dawkins and him, where Jordan Peterson was saying like, "Are dragons real?"
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, did you ever have the dragon?
What?
Did you ever have a dragon?
Like a literal dragon?
No, like someone dragging their nuts over your face.
Fuck you. He did that earlier. He did that in the grocery store, son of a bitch. All right.
Sorry, guys, the dragon.
No, that's okay. All right. So I've watched enough Jordan Peterson lectures or whatever where the dragon is just like the archetype of threat. That's what it is. So a dragon is reptilian. So it can be both a land and sea animal. It also has wings, so it can be an air animal. It breathes fire. Fire can be a physical, natural threat. So it's the archetype of threat.
Wow.
But what Dawkins was saying was that, like, okay, well, are dragons real?
Yeah,
literally. And then they thought about that for a little bit.
Yeah, because Jordan Peterson is fucking retarded, yeah?
Okay. And then, well, I mean, but if you want to say, like, Komodo dragons are fucking real, right?
Do you really think that's what Dawkins was talking about, was Komodo dragons?
No, but I felt like, similar to you, he's being fucking obtuse, where they're asking, like, can you perceive fire as a threat? And Dawkins was like, no, it's not a predator. It's not a predator, but it's a threat, right? To human existence.
Yeah, but I guess my issue with Jordan Peterson is sometimes I feel like he can be very literal and very exact on very complicated matters, like climate change. But then when it comes to, like, do you think dragons are real? Like, he should be able to say, well, no, I believe in archetypes and blah, 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 but obviously an actual dragon is not real. Like, he should be able to say that.
So he should be able to differentiate between mythological archetypes and literal reality.
Yeah, like, did Jews leave Egypt? Like,
did he not answer that literally?
I think Alex O'Connor got him to. It just took like 30 minutes for him to finally fucking answer it.
Which, by the way, there is evidence of the Jews leaving Egypt.
Well,
just not 40,000 of them.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. There was no evidence for like the Moses Exodus.
There's no anthropological or archaeological evidence for the Moses Exodus, but there is like a written record of Semitic people leaving Egypt around the time of Tutankhamun. And so the actual archaeologists or anthropologists, to the best of my knowledge, correlate the narrative of the Exodus around 1200 before Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about it? Where are we going with this? You were talking about Peterson.
I just had an opportunity to talk about history, so I just did it.
Yeah. Was that already bring up about Peterson? You brought up Peterson. You wanted to go there for some reason.
No. I guess the Peterson thing is like I just feel like a lot of liberals are like, there's nothing of value to religion. There's nothing of value to mythology. It's all fucking hoodoo voodoo bullshit. And anybody who likes mythology or Jung or whatever, they should fucking kill themselves.
Actually based. Can I take a 30-second clip break?
Sure.
My number one fan. Do you know who Isabella Moody is?
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't she a conservative?
I think so.
Isn't she a conservative alt media pundit?
Video clip for me. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me say this for the Jews in the back, okay? Rape jokes are always funny, and if you're a man, and you disagree with that, then you're a simp cuck beta ass bitch. Like, you probably would get plowed by Destiny, who's like a gay cuck bitch himself, right? And if you're a girl that gets offended by that, then I don't know, go scissor it. This is not feminine. I need to stop. Curl, hit me up.
I'm tired of that shit. Are you friends with Isabella Moody?
No.
Say this.
Okay. Is she a conservative alt media commentary person?
I don't even know who. She did a show with, was it Luke Beasley for a little bit?
Did she?
Yeah, as like a liberal.
Oh, is she married to the fucking twink?
She might be. I don't know.
Okay, if I'm thinking of the right person, Isabella Moody is in like a fake conservative relationship where she pretends that her twink boyfriend bosses her around all day and he tells her what to do, but it's pretty obvious that like when the cameras go off, they have a normal relationship because there's no fucking way that this fucking twink is arguing like with Isabella is like probably what, like fucking Italian or some shit.
Jesus.
There's no way you're yelling at an Italian woman all fucking day and telling her what to do. She'll fucking kick your teeth in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen her husband. I think I saw her husband like off frame or they did like a thing or something, but I don't remember.
Yeah, was that because like I think Luke Beasley was trying to do a collaborative show where he was hanging out with them, even though they were schizophrenic conservatives.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Jesus.
What?
She just does a lot of. I think she just like rage baits. This is the caption. You don't have to read that out loud. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, right, but that's. Okay, but that's kind of my point is that there's this entire like media ecosystem of people. Was she saying that like rape jokes are always funny and she thinks that if you don't think rape jokes are funny, then you're a beta cuck soy bitch?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so here's my problem. Wasn't there this...
Oh my god, I just thought of my next... Go ahead, sorry.
No, I mean, if you have something, go for it, but...
No, I can make a rape joke.
Oh, okay, cool.
It'll just involve...
Me?
No.
My mother?
Close.
My father?
The
village people from Minecraft?
Close.
I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
The drowned people.
Oh, yeah. Wait till I leave.
Go on, you got there.
Yeah, thanks.
Go ahead.
Tweet it out while we're live.
I won't do that. I won't do that to you now.
Okay, thank you. Fucking hell. God damn it. Conservatives. Cringe shit. Oh. Didn't that chick say that you were the biggest fucking piece of shit on the goddamn internet and then she fucking sweeps for Tate?
Who?
There was some chick in the past fucking 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, and you like reviewed her video where she was like, "Oh yeah, Steven and I we collaborated a few times, and we're the fuck." Dude, I fucking you said that she was sweeping for Tate, and then I search her immediately, and I'm like, Amy, whatever her name is, Tate, and then she's like,
Dangerfield.
The Tates are like, they're not guilty. You know, there's no way. The media establishment is trying to take them out. You know, I've met them. They're good people. This, that, the other thing. And I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, she's calling you out on your shit. The fucking Tates have openly admitted to sex trafficking people across the fucking continent.
But the Tates
They've been charged for fucking physical abuse and fucking rape.
Though. Haven't been convicted yet.
What the fuck?
That's crazy. I need to keep up.
No, but how do you... Dude, like, I'm just saying, like, that the reason why that's so fucking mind-blowing to me is, like, what the fuck does this have to do with conservatism? What about before your parents lost their minds? In the 90s, if you asked them, hey, Fox News is thinking about hiring a guy, but he's currently under suspicion of sex trafficking women to Romania and beating them and raping them, what do you think? What do you think your parents would have said before they lost their fucking minds?
Probably not okay.
Right.
Yeah, I think they would have cried.
I think my parents would have been super fucking upset. They were pissed off that Bill Clinton got a fucking blowjob.
Yeah.
So what the fuck is this shit? Why is this conservatism?
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say, I don't think my parents were happy with Trump's comments about McCain a long time ago. Remember before he like blew up in the primaries?
Me too. That's why I didn't vote for him in 16.
3 different things that like he said where people were like, oh shit, he's gone. Like you can't possibly get away with that.
Yeah.
But
he said he prefers his war heroes didn't get kidnapped and tortured.
True.
Meanwhile, he fucking draft dodged for fucking
True.
Because he had flat feet or whatever.
Flat feet. Now he's got round ankles.
Nice. I like that because I actually do hope he dies. But anyways.
Everybody dies eventually. I don't need any more
from
visits.
Natural causes. I'm not going to make it happen.
True.
Yeah, Secret Service. Don't worry about it. But the what was I thinking?
Nothing.
No, I was thinking about fucking conservative bullshit and how far we've fallen. I basically that's all. I'll save you 5 minutes. It's shocking to me how far we've fallen in the past 40 years.
True.
End of rant.
And that's why the left needs to eject both socialists and the tankies.
Okay, but once they get their shit together, do they need to embrace moderates on the right to fight MAGA or no?
No, they need to appeal to their own fucking party.
What?
We didn't need moderates on the right for Hillary to get the popular vote win or for Biden to win his election.
I think you probably needed the far left or some.
No, you think the far left was out there championing fucking Biden?
You think the far left isn't fucking growing in the past 10 years?
Well, that's why we need to kill him in the crib, metaphorically.
Uh-huh. And you're going to do that by saying that actually the economy is not that bad. Suck it up, dipshits.
Exactly.
That's not going to work.
We need to start making documentaries of how people live in other countries to show people what it's like to be an American versus some of these other places. Okay?
This is the dumbest fucking thing that I've ever heard. It's not the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's the dumbest thing that I've heard today. You're saying that in the past 10 years, with social media radicalization and the left wing, the far left wing, gaining millions of fucking viewers that are probably shifting the Overton window left, but MAGA represents 55% of the fucking right wing, and they've alienated a shitload of people in the center. You don't need to recruit or ally with people in the center right. You just want to do it all by yourself with liberals. And you can reconvert far left people back to liberals by telling them, actually, the world's not that bad. We have B-21 Raiders.
You know what we should do?
What?
You know how...
That's not a fucking plan, by the way.
You know how
That's
Tucker
a
Carlson...
dog shit
You know
plan.
how Tucker Carlson made the video in Moscow where he's like, look, I'm at a grocery store.
You're going to do that at Publix?
I'm going to go... I'm going to be in Boston and I'm going to be like, guys, we're going to Walmart today. Look at all the different clothes I can buy. Ordinarily, it's hard to find pants that are both long and of the appropriate waist type, but look what we found today. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to make American propaganda. That would be awesome. Look at this car dealership I'm at. I can get so many different types of cars from all over the world.
Oh my God. Do you know who would do that? And I know you hate him anyways, or I don't know why you hate him, but Drew Pavlou. Drew Pavlou would do that shit fucking.
I don't hate Drew. I just don't view him as a very serious political person. So
okay, but the point is, like, I'm pretty sure he would have the exact tempo in order to do a 2-minute video where he's like, holy shit, guys, I went to the grocery store in Australia and look at all this fucking shrimp.
There you go. Also, hold on. I got Econo Boy responded in his molding real quick.
Please.
He said, hey, at the OmniLiberal, I'd appreciate a retraction. You asked me 2 questions, the second of which was, would I ban capitalist parties? And I said, no. I also included immediately a full explanation of my position where I said I'm a Democrat first.
Read his yes or no tweet. I want to hear the whole thing.
Okay. So I said, would you ban all forms of private ownership in your ideal society and outlaw parties that support private ownership?
Okay.
His response was yes and no. Practically, I think there's an upper limit of public ownership, but I think we can go even further than Norway and maintain economic growth. However, I think complete social ownership is ideal. And if we can figure out a way to get there, I'd be all for it. So complete social ownership means the elimination of all private property and all private investment. And if everything is socially owned, it would necessitate the banning of all private investment and probably, now maybe he would still allow.
So what's the retraction that he's looking for?
I think he's trying to say that he didn't say that he would ban all forms of private ownership, but I don't know how complete social ownership has room for any type of private
everybody
ownership.
will agree with him.
What?
Everybody will agree with him. Everybody will just agree that it's the right thing to do. And they'll just indoctrinate everybody to believe that.
The problem is, like, when these socialist guys go on to talk about their ideal, like, platform, it's like it is the most. It is like unicorns and rainbows. They're like, I think it'd be cool if the government could just have big shares in everything and like a controlling vote, and they would direct it all to be the most productive thing possible, and then we would give the perfect amount of money and homes that are free to everybody. And it's like how am I even supposed to say? Well, like, how am I supposed to fucking argue with that?
I am critical of your, hey, working class and middle class, shit has sucked forever, suck it the fuck up. I don't think you're going to get like a broad base of liberal support with that messaging, but, go for it, I guess. When it comes to what the fuck you're saying, though, yeah, it's like it sounds like teddy bear bullshit, and then we're just going to get there through fucking hugs and rainbows. But that's what I like about capitalism. capitalism presumes self-interest.
Sure, and it's not even so much that. It's like the real hidden OP is like the nice thing about a capitalist society is that if you want to do like some kind of like co-op
Go
or
do it.
public ownership, yeah, you can have a city and you can vote to have your city, you know, like Mom Daddy's going to try this thing with grocery stores in New York City. If you want to do that, then do it, try it, you know. But you can also, if you have people that want to start a business and hire an employee, they can do that too. If you're for your socialist model to work, you kind of sort of basically have to like eliminate all private stuff. Now, these guys, now here's where you'll get him, okay? And if a Conor listening, he can try to respond to this because there's no way he'll be able to talk his way out of this. You ask him, well, would you still allow there to be private parties that advocate for privatization of stuff while still having socialist, like everything publicly owned? Now, he'll say things like, oh, yeah, well, I wouldn't ban that type of stuff. Then it's like, oh, that's cool. Just curious, do you believe in things like manufactured consent? Do you believe that wealthy people have an inordinate amount of control over the political system? He's always going to say yes. Like, oh, okay.
He might.
No, he'll say yes. They all believe this. It's like, oh, okay. So then would you allow that political party to exist in a world where those people could influence the political system to have private ownership of goods and services voted for because they're able to influence the media? It's like, well, no, I would probably ban the ability to buy ads, or I'd ban the ability to lobby, or I'd ban the, and it's like, at some point you'll argue them because you know all of the, or I know all of the underlying beliefs. And if you argue out each of them, they have to get to a point where they'll say, yeah, okay, I would ban all of it.
Okay.
And make it illegal, and then put them in camps.
I would be interested. Maybe I'm being suckered in by his wholesome exterior image. But I wonder if he would bite down on that.
He would. He has to. He wouldn't immediately. He would start by saying, oh, no, of course I wouldn't do that. But once you talk through all the points, he'll have to get to a point to where he said, okay, yeah, if in practice, yeah, I would basically have to basically ban all of these things. Because this socialist shit only works if you ban.
Yeah, it's an idea so good, it's compulsory.
Yeah. Well, because you can't
And that's a conservative meme, by the way, but it still checks out.
Yeah, no, like you can't have you just can't have private competition. That's why, like, look at how Hassan talks about it. He's a bit more honest, right? Where he says the United States has to fall for there to be like the global socialist utopia. Because the only reason, do you know the only reason socialism hasn't worked out yet?
Oh, it's because Western countries have interfered.
Exactly. The United States particularly, which is why Hassan would want to see the
That's why Pol
destruction
Pot killed a third of his population. It's because of Western intervention.
Yeah.
That's why Mao Zedong fucked up the Great Leap Forward and killed tens of millions of people through starvation, primarily his ideological opponents. It's because the West intervened, and he was scared of the West. That's why he did it.
Exactly.
The Soviet Union.
And it's like why,
purges,
and I get so mad at this, like the Palestinians and the Houthis and all these guys, is why they don't like gay people. It's because we keep bombing them.
Right.
According to Hassan as
Actually,
well.
Islamic homophobia is deeply rooted in Western-style colonialism.
Mm-hmm. It was one of the saddest.
This is sarcastic, by the way.
It's
for
not
those of you who
sarcastic.
can't tell.
It was actually one of the saddest verses in the Quran. It's when
I can't
Muhammad
think
was
of,
like, "I wish that I could accept the gays," and then you hear in the background, "Woo!" And then his closest ally's like, "That's a J-dam."
And then he's like, "Ah, shit! I
can tell from the audio on the cell phone footage.
Yeah, now I have to kill the gays.
Yeah,
because they're part of the Western degenerate liberal empire.
Yep.
What's even the fucking steel man of that?
Of what?
What's the steel man that Islamic homophobia comes from Western colonialism?
Well, if I was getting bombed all the time and I wanted to beat the shit out of somebody, who's the easiest person to beat up?
The
Can't
gay
beat our
person?
moms and
Wait, is
sisters.
that the
We don't
steel
want to
man?
fight other real men, so we go to the effeminate gay people. Boom.
So hold on, that's your steel man?
I think it's a pretty good steel, man. We can't kill the women. We got to make more babies. We're not going to kill our children. We're not going to fight strong men, so we go after the gay dudes, right?
I was just trying to think of a better rationale, but I don't know. I don't know. Well, hold on. So here's the thing. There's this interesting thing. I'll get a little Islamophobic. There's this interesting thing where premarital sex is banned and oftentimes enforced strictly in Islamic societies.
Yeah.
So lots of things that happen in Iraq were like man love, Fridays.
Man boy love, yeah.
Yeah, well, that was Afghanistan.
Oh.
But anyways, Afghans had a subculture of pederasty with the Bakarbazi and the Chai Tea boys and all that stuff. But then in Iraq, it was just homosexuality where you would bang before the Sabbath. Dudes would bang other dudes before the Sabbath, and then you would, pray to God and try to get your sins absolved and all that kind of stuff, even though they don't have the Christian conception of sin the same way that Christians have forgiveness. Okay. But anyways, the point is that is Hassan saying that the undercurrent of homosexuality that was common in like Persia and medieval Islam was actually like the true based homophilic culture that he wants to defend. And it's actually Western imperialist bombs that make them hate themselves.
Okay.
That's the closest I can get to an idea. It's not even a fully complete idea. That's the closest I can get to one.
Okay. I don't know how true or not true that is.
You just want to beat the shit out of effeminate gay people
no,
in the Middle East and North
I'm
Africa.
explaining why some people want
Other people want to do it because they're getting J-damned.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Interesting.
What else?
I can pull up my list.
You have a list?
Yeah. Jordan Peterson thing was kind of a dud, but that's just because I like him and you don't. And
True.
You just owned all the shit. You were just like, yeah, he fucking sucks, lol.
I'm just curious where they uploaded his real mind to when they took him to Russia and they knocked him out for 2 weeks to cure him from his benzo addiction.
Yeah, so... Ooh, okay, I like this one. But it's only going to take like 10 seconds, providing that you just bite the bullet.
Oh, the question I asked you in the car. Your favorite... I'm just kidding.
Okay. What I was going to say is, lots of people, you got in trouble for your edgy joke about the Texas floods.
Yeah.
And I was one of the people who called you out on it.
Okay.
And one of the things that you said recently was that Hassan, when he's joking about terrorism, et cetera, the problem is that there's an undercurrent of malice. He actually does hate...
He's not joking. He's just full on like...
Yeah, he hates the United States.
Yeah.
He legitimately thinks that we deserve 9/11 and that Western imperialism is evil and the world is bad until the Western Empire falls.
True.
So, for you, I think part of the reason why you took heat was because with the kids, they're conservative kids in a conservative state. They're also killed by conservative policy. So I think there's a bristling underlying, maybe you don't feel it, but people presume an underlying bristling resentment and hatred of conservatives, which is why you didn't give a fuck about the joke.
Gotcha.
How do you respond to those charges?
I mean, I think you have to be pretty uncharitable to think I would be genuinely happy that like kids are dying. That's pretty unhinged, I think.
Okay. What about your follow-up point where you said that it's not necessarily more sad for kids to die compared to adults?
I think I was just making a general edgy point that it's funny that people get so sad when kids die. And it's like, well, it's pretty sad when adults die too. I would argue, depending on the age, even worse.
But piecing this apart is like a potentially a real...
But also, hold on. That doesn't mean that if I say it's sad when adults and kids die equally, it doesn't mean that like I all of a sudden I'm okay with kids dying.
Well, actually, I want to piece this apart because, you know, my reflex or whatever was, of course, it's more tragic when kids die.
Why?
Well, that's why I was going to ask you. Can you instinctively, off the cuff of your head, explain why it's more tragic for a child to die than an 80-year-old?
Well, then an 80-year-old, sure.
Well, okay, but then move it back. Move it to 70-year-old, 60-year-old, 50-year-old, 40-year-old. Why? Let's start with the 80-year-old. Why is it more tragic for a child to die than for an 80-year-old to die?
Because an 80-year-old's on his way out anyway.
Okay.
He's
now
probably
70,
got shot
now
in the
60,
face,
now 50,
ankles.
now 40, now 30.
Sure, I'm just saying that like it doesn't like
we mourn
well,
the
what's more
loss.
tragic? A 3-year-old dying? My God, that's horrible. It is. I'm sorry. That would be horrible. Or like a 32-year-old father who works for a family with a wife and 4 kids.
I mean, those are interesting caveats to the second example, but I think most people would mourn the child more because of the loss of potential.
Yeah, but like. In a way, potential's like the worst thing to have, you know?
Fuck.
I mean, it kind of is, right? Like, you like if someone's like, man, that child had so much potential, and it's like, well, good thing he died before he found out, right?
What the fuck?
Like,
what are you talking about?
What if he wouldn't have lived up to any of it? That could have been a future crackhead, and now you pretend it was a future high school athlete. You don't know that.
Dude, no.
I'm just saying.
No.
Everybody's like, my kid could have been the next Einstein. It's like, he also could have been the next Hitler. You don't know.
Shut the fuck up.
But if you have an actual contributing 30-year-old member of society who dies.
Everybody presumes that children, because they typically are considered innocent, have the potential to be
because they're
something
children
good.
and they get to die innocent. Like, thank God. Imagine if Mary wouldn't have absconded to fucking heaven and would have gotten gangbanged at fucking 32 before
excuse me? What?
Mary, the mother of Christ. She was a
happened?
virgin who got to go right to heaven. I think the Holy Ascension of Mary, or the Assumption of Mary, right?
So what if she hadn't had Christ and she had...
What if she lived on Earth a little bit longer and had a few gangbangs? We wouldn't view her the same way.
Right.
So she got to leave when she was innocent for a 2-year-old. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that...
But you don't believe in heaven.
No.
Or an afterlife.
I'm just saying that... Here's what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
No, you're fucking memeing. But
I'm just challenging the notion that a child is automatically assumed to be more tragic. Like, no offense, I love 2-year-olds, okay, but they're not even really humans. I'm not even fully convinced a kid is human until like 9 or 10, okay? They're fully human.
Hold on.
But like, if you lose like a 20, 30, 40-year-old member of society, this guy's been contributing. He's got so many different connections in the community.
This is totally
He's got
sociopathic, by the way. But it's...
Yeah, I'm a sociopath because I think a 35-year-old can have more connections to society, more people that love and cherish them and miss them when they die.
Yeah, than a fucking 2-year-old. Yeah, absolutely.
Than a 2-year-old?
So hold on. Let's test this because I think I heard it coming out of your fucking shitty ass... Okay, listen, DGG, I love you, but fuck you too. I heard this fucking shitty thing. kids don't have memories until they're 3.
Or 4 or 5, depending on.
So technically, you could just fucking shoot them.
Jesus.
And not that big of a deal because they don't have the memory of the pain or anything like that. How do you respond to that?
Nobody has any memories of anything once they're dead, so I don't know how that's relevant at all.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, I try to catch you on a denim stick.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Oh, are you serious? How does she talk when she does her voice?
Is that how she talks? I don't watch enough denims content.
I can't believe you guys think that. I can't believe that you guys, are you even watching this video right now?
Yeah, that's how she talks when she's doing her voice. You ever seen her do that before?
No, I haven't watched enough denims material, apparently.
Gotcha. Real quick, I'm sorry, because Econoboy just went live with the stream titled, I'm told I don't believe in democracy. The reason why he changed it to democracy is because socialists like to pretend that when they eradicate capitalism and liberalism, that they're actually more democratic, because somehow people are going to vote for the correct things to socialize everything. So the socialist that eliminates the democracy is actually more democratic than the Democrat who believes in liberalism and capitalism, because now they're voting on how to utilize all of society's capital with the publicly owned government or whatever.
Okay.
Just look at how that's worked for every single fucking country, by the way, that's tried that so far. But
Okay, let me press you. So, what you are accused of sometimes that I would like to challenge you on is that sometimes that you don't give a fuck about the arguments. You only care about whatever's going to play and make drama.
Wait,
So
when did I
I'm
say that?
asking
Wait,
you-
what?
I'm asking you, do you care about capitalism's survival over socialism?
Yeah, I think it's better for every person involved. Yes.
Okay, do you care about democracy and the survival of the democracy and the republic and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So these are ideological arguments that you hold in your heart that you give a fuck about, that you would be willing to fight someday over. It's not just metrics and fun and bullshit.
No, I feel very strongly about these things.
Okay.
When we're driving in the car, I'm not like, oh, none of these things matter to me. I'm just memeing and trolling, right?
Well,
I feel very strongly about all these things.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Dude, I'm just double checking. There's some people who think that you have a totally artificial personality and that you only care about these things because it pisses off Chad and makes them give you money.
Do you feel like I have a totally artificial personality?
No, but, some people do. So I bring it up. Because I'll tell you why. Because if I ask that question and then you instantaneously were like, yeah, I'm just fucking memeing lol, whatever, then I'll be like, all right, there's some showmanship bullshit going on here. But if you're actually passionately fighting this motherfucker because you actually think like
Which motherfucker?
Econoboy.
I wouldn't call him a motherfucker, damn.
Okay, because the fate of the United States of America ultimately does ride on the opinions of its people, and you think he has a bad opinion that you want to fight. That's cool.
I just don't like the.
That's cool.
I just don't like the.
I do that.
I don't like all the flirting with the extremist ideologies and like having like a cutesy pretend way to do it.
Yeah.
When it's like, nobody else would get this much leeway. Like if I wanted to say, I genuinely want to take another shot at fascism, but I think we can do it where we're not quite as xenophobic and we incorporate other types of people into it, like radical.
I'm like a space fascist.
Like, I don't know if you've noticed this. Oh, maybe I can talk to you about this because the liberals are all brain broken on this. But like, you are aware that like the new type of like racist, xenophobic, like crazy alt-righter MAGA person actually is generally fairly coolish with black people and with the Hispanics that are already here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not actually like hardcore racist. They'll even say like, well, black people were technically part of this country
They're
because of
part
slavery.
of the founding stock of this country.
Yeah, and there are a lot of Hispanics, but I just want to go back to it being like 85% white people instead of 60% white people. Yeah, so like, but if I were to say that, obviously, and for good
Christian
reason.
nationalists also do that too because they say like, oh, we're in the universal fraternity of Christianity,
Sure.
but I still prefer to have majority Northern
Yeah,
Europeans.
and if I were to say that, I think everybody on the left would obviously call me the fuck out. Where you're like, you want to go back to 85% white people? It's like, well, I do. They'd say like, you're flirting hardcore with that right-leaning ideology, which is fair. And I would say, yeah, of course, that's insane. But they can. Why can they flirt with like the socialism and the communism and the tankyism?
I think
when
because
all
it's
of
not explicitly racist. I think that's why.
Yeah, it's not explicitly racist, but it is explicitly like. I mean, just
I think it's fucking evil as fuck. But I think that So for instance, like, there's no immediate apparent reason why the decommodification of basic human needs and workers owning the means of production is evil. There's no immediately apparent reason
other than the fact that it doesn't seem to work ever.
Right. The only way that it's evil is that it empowers the government, which is effectively dudes with guns, in order to control society so much that if you oppose them, they'll fucking kill you. It empowers authoritarianism.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not inherently evil because of the idea, but that's the same thing like you were saying with fascism. We could create this like philosophical version of fascism that is actually incorporative of all of humanity and doesn't have any fucking genocides. But ultimately, how does fashion actually iterate in the real world? In murder, in mass slaughter, in authoritarianism.
Basically, yeah.
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 Good times.
Well, it's not. It's
I
not
have
good.
fun. I have fun on the internet arguing about things.
Oh, yeah, but it's not. It's just annoying.
Sure.
We need our. I need some center left people to exist on the internet, and I feel like there are not very many of them.
Why? Well, hold on. So I think that's another thing that people would be offended by, though.
What?
Hutch would still consider himself center
No,
left.
Hutch is.
Josiah would still consider himself center
I
left.
think Josiah is. Yeah.
He's a little progressive on some issues, but I still think he's a
I don't
capitalist.
have anything wrong with progressivism, but I'm not just looking for center left people. But center left people that are like.
How do you define progressivism?
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm just
cool.
saying.
Move on.
Yeah. I'm just saying that like it's not just about like being center left. It's about being a strong center left with a rejection of crazy shit.
Of the far left.
If I was in a room,
You feel like everybody else is playing footsie with the far left.
yeah, like if I was hanging out with like a Nazi friend, if me and Nick Fuentes were doing a stream together, right? My guess is going to be most of the stream with me and Nick Fuentes is probably going to be us arguing and disagreeing on almost everything,
Sure.
which I think historically they were, right? But then if it was like, if I had a stream where I had like a bunch of like ultra crazy far right people and we're not arguing about anything, and then we're like, actually, I think we need to align ourselves with these people and like work with them. And it's like, it's just so weird to me.
There's a little bit of a resentment here from my end, though, but I want to ask why. So when it comes, like, did you have a problem with the way that I define like fiscal conservatism as far as like balancing the budget, making sure that we don't economically capsize the United States of America?
Sure.
Okay, I think that's like a center-right ideal. Now, it's fucked up because fiscal conservatism gets misapplied, but I think that's a center-right ideal. What about social conservatism, like Jordan Peterson shit? You oftentimes talk about that, like most people should not be living your specific lifestyle, and you actually advocate that most people be fucking normies. So I would say that 2018 Jordan Peterson was effectively like the messiah of normie-ness. So do you have a problem with 2018 Jordan Peterson or the vast majority of society adopting
The
that?
pre-Benzo Jordan Peterson is probably okay. It just depends on what you mean when you say social conservatism. It's just hard because like
I just
everybody
mean get fucking married, have kids, and don't beat the shit out of your fucking wife and kids.
Yeah, but like nobody. It seems like nobody can just be chill. Nobody can pump the brakes on the things that they believe. They have to be the most. They always have to just be fucking crazy. Why can't people just
like
not be
what?
fucking crazy?
Like so for
Like look at Jordan Peterson today is fucking crazy.
because he started hanging out with the Daily Wire and they fucking brain sucked him after he was post Benzo.
So what the fuck? Why can't anybody just like stop there? Like be chill.
Well, I'm trying, but it's not fucking interesting to
I'm
that
not
many
talking about
people.
you or me.
Okay,
I'm
but
talking about in
but I'm
general
saying-
and like the
okay,
media environment. Nobody can
but
just
I'm
like
saying fucking like jumping on a podcast and being like, please God, be fucking normal.
Yes,
Dude,
please.
like that Bastiat fucking
Yes,
clip,
just
dude.
be normal.
Dude,
we don't need pink rainbow gay communists and we don't need fucking Nazi space lasers made by the
for the center left and the center right in order to build it, and you say fuck the center right.
Because-
but is that a question of priority? Like, what is that?
for a healthy country, the center right and the center left should be violently fighting each other. Not violently per se, but like or
Passionately.
yes.
Passionately.
And then in the tension there, then we should like
Figure out what's good policy.
yeah, like I think it would be a rich and fruitful discussion for like the center left and the center right to fight valiantly against one another over what would a better lockdown policy have been. Should we have had one at all? Was it fair when liberals wrote that letter saying, well, you know, BLM protests are okay, but the conservative biker rallies aren't okay? Or what should, you know, like I think that there's a rich, healthy debate that could be had there that would iron out the positions of both sides and create some better policy so much better than
Which
when right now it's
that's
you
what
have,
politics should have been.
yeah, and now we have Taylor Lorenz who thinks that if you're not wearing a mask today,
You're committing genocide.
you're literally
against
committing
debate.
genocide. And then you've got the far right who they literally rapidly, like a quartz crystal, they oscillate between COVID was a nothing burger that did nothing and Cuomo stuck an old person in an old
was
person's
also a
home and
Chinese
murdered
super
20,000
weapon.
people. And it was a Chinese super weapon at the same time. And it was targeted not to go after Jewish people and Chinese people. But it also didn't do fucking anything at all. But like, and it's like, so now we have nothing.
Well, right, but that's my point is, if you're right wing or temperamentally right wing or center right and you're moderate and sane or whatever, there's not really any place to go. I have people who are like who are previously MAGA or whatever, and they see some of the crazy shit that fucking Trump's done, but they don't feel like they can go anywhere or do anything.
I don't know how I agree with that. Explain why nothing came of DeSantis and Haley.
Of
These people-
them running against him, or
They
bending
they
the
showed up and they got
knee,
like
or-
fucking 5% support and they're like, oh fuck us in the ass, I guess.
Well,
they disappeared
no,
and they
because I
fucked
think-
off immediately.
No, because I think the Republican primary is effectively boiled down to the most hardcore fucking MAGA people.
So what's going on there? Why?
Why? Well, so hold on. So if we added up, we'd have to take a look at the primaries. With the primaries, how many did all of the alternatives to Trump add up to? Was it 40%? Was it 35%? What was it?
Was it for the primary?
Yeah, sure. When you had like Vivek and DeSantis and
Are you asking like what percentage of the people that vote in the general vote in primaries?
No. Okay. Republican primary. You have half a dozen fucking. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a fucking primary this last time, did we?
Oh, you don't remember that, but you did have a primary. It's just Donald Trump chose not to
Didn't
participate.
show up.
He didn't want to debate anybody.
Oh,
yeah.
God, I hated that so.
Yeah, he just said I'm not debating these fools because it's not going to serve my end.
Fuck, I hated that.
Also, can I just say for one moment, fuck your entire side for saying it was impossible to figure out how to pronounce Kamala, but they could figure out how to pronounce Vivek Ramaswamy.
Truth be told, I still get told that I mispronounce Kamala.
Sure, but come on, the two names here. Are we serious? Like if Donald Trump had a son and his name was like Okeechobee Juby Juby, they would be like, oh yeah, we know that guy. And
Listen,
it's like Kamala.
Racism is over. We already elected Barack Hussein Obama.
True.
Hold up.
Holding.
Okay. The point is, I feel like this is more fertile ground than a lot of people give it credit for because, as an example, Chris Christie, during the primaries, would say some shit that was fucking anti-Trump. And in the initial fucking like 30 seconds of it, everybody would boo him. Like, boo, fuck you, et cetera, et cetera. Then we go on to like a 2 to 3 minute pretty passionate rant. And by the end of that, everybody was fucking clapping for him. I would have voted for Chris Christie. My main problem with him is that he's fat as fuck. That's it. That's literally my fucking problem with him.
What about Trump?
No, Chris Christie has a picture of him taking a small M&M bag or a large M&M bag and pouring it into a small M&M bag so he can aesthetically look like he's eating a small M&M bag.
That's actually pretty based.
That's pretty fucking fat. So like the whole point, but the point to that is that there are Republicans who are salvageable and are interested in a republic. They've just fucking lost their way, lost their goddamn mind. But there's no way for them to land. MAGA's still a threat. Liberals, no offense, you're fucking, hey, bootstrap the liberals. It's not that fucking bad. I don't think that's a winning fucking policy. So your options are ally with the far left or ally with the far right, or else you're fucked. And you don't seem to recognize that. You think that you're going to be able to ideologically purify the liberals, be such a good arguer that you're going to be able to build a broader liberal base, and then you're just going to fucking win. I have no idea how the fuck that works.
Isn't that what happened in 2020?
No.
You think a lot of far left people, like the leftists?
No. I think in 2020, the economy was such fucking dog shit that basically people wanted any way out of the economy besides Trump. I think that was raw economics. I don't think that had anything to do with Biden.
We don't need the lefties, and we don't need the center right. We just need our center left people to stand up strong.
Okay, well, fuck you too. All right, fuck you too. That's fine.
Yeah, fuck them.
All right. I tried twice.
Okay. Any other huge key issues we need to go over?
Let me just take a look and see if there's any like memes that I want to address before we wrap up. Oh, so this was another thing that you might not give that much of a shit about, but it's anti-American to criticize other people's religion. Do you have any passionate feelings about that?
No, that's fucking retarded. You should be able to blow up whoever's religion you want.
Okay, that's something that you said, but that's okay.
Wait, I said that?
Yeah.
In what context?
I don't know. That's the whole note.
Well, hold on. If the context had to do with, because the only thing I can think of when I'm talking about this is when people are like trying to ban people from practicing their religion because they don't like it in the context of like New York shit. Because some people were saying, because somebody was saying something like Mamdani can't be elected because he's a Muslim. Yeah, that's crazy. Now you can like hate the. I'm not a religious guy.
You might have said that in that specific context, but I guess this is the question. You can answer it pretty simply. Do you think it's anti-American to criticize other people's religions?
No, fuck no. Religion is.
It was specifically within the context of you're saying that a Muslim can't run for office.
Yeah, that's crazy. Or saying you should ban a certain religion or whatever.
Okay. Bullying the white South African guy. So that was like a Pangburn event. There was a dude who walked up to you. He exclusively wanted to talk to you about like fucking white genocide shit. And then you were like, well, fuck them South Africans.
It's not so much that did I bully him? Maybe a little.
It was just that he was trying to talk to you about that shit, and you were like, I don't think it's a genocide.
No, I don't. Did
Next
I say
topic.
That? I think I like.
It's not. It's not. I agree statistically.
Well, no, I don't even know. I don't know. I just don't know enough about that issue to have a deep discussion on it. So I didn't want to like just let him ramble off like 20 things and then okay, well I'm gonna go do some research later. I'm like, fuck, he was like propaganda. So I just didn't know enough about it. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. No. Then the only other thing that I did was hold on.
Uh-oh.
You did the decoding the gurus.
Oh yeah, okay. A while ago, yeah.
And you were talking about debate edging and you used you used the Jordan Peterson Kathy Newman debate as an example of like debate edging.
Yeah.
Where you thought that he was implying things, then she was saying, so you're saying blank, and then he would back off.
Well, I didn't say that.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that debate, what was Jordan Peterson pointing to? Because everybody says like, oh, he's a sexist because he doesn't want women.
I would
in
have
the
to
workplace or
rewatch it,
whatever.
but he was basically saying things like, men and women can't get along in the workplace, and there's more harassment today than there ever has been, and blah, 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 blah. And then she was like, so do you think that men and women shouldn't work together? Oh, I didn't say that at all. I would never even ever blah, blah.
Okay, but in the context of Me Too, how is that not true? So for instance...
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
A collection of facts that are true does not make for a true statement, necessarily.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, but continue.
Okay. Let's say that I tell you that yesterday, let's say that there's a man and a woman and they live together, okay? And let's say that I say yesterday the man ate breakfast and lunch and dinner. And then like on the day after, the man also ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then the day after, the man ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then the wife ate dinner with the man. Let's say that all of those statements are true. What does it kind of give you the impression that the woman is not eating?
Yeah.
Okay, but why?
You're omitting those facts.
I didn't say that she wasn't eating. Did I say that? Did I ever say she wasn't eating?
Okay. But I think if you were to presume that Jordan Peterson doesn't have 70 IQ, then the line of argumentation would effectively be that in the era of Me Too, which I'm pretty sure this like correlated with time-wise, effectively what's going on is men are being discouraged from approaching women in the workplace, which is going to be like their primary place where they meet people. And so as a result, we're going to have this totally like socially discouraged class of young men, and that it's going to be fucked up and we don't know what the rules are. And so why wouldn't that just imply we don't know what the fucking rules are of like
Well, that's
social
not
engagement in the
implying,
modern era?
That's what's being said, but what is the implication past that? Do we generate a different set of rules, or do we ban women from the workplace?
I don't think Jordan Peterson would be interested in banning women from the workplace. He cited a substantive amount of his career as he's coached like high-powered women for like a substantive amount of their careers.
True.
So,
but I'm
and
just
then
saying
also
that,
doesn't
like,
his wife work and doesn't his daughter
Sure,
work?
if you're not retarded, you would probably assume that people would assume you're going there. So why not head that off with a potential prescription of your own, maybe, instead of never giving one?
That's where I find his rhetoric weak.
Well, is it weak or is it intentional?
I don't know.
Here's what, you know what I hate? You know what I hate more than anything else in the world?
What?
People who pretend that they don't know who their fans are. If I have a group of, you've seen me, I do this so much, right? I'm doing it right
Sure.
now with this lefty show where I'm like, hold on, I think some more of you are socialists than I actually fucking realize. Okay, and so I have these motherfuckers in my
Dude,
head.
just read their chat.
I
read
know,
the live
I
and
got
learn
them,
chat.
dude.
It's
Calcifer
crazy.
65, Aerith, and Shad. I got these motherfuckers
Dude,
right
as a
here.
matter
I'm
of
close
fact,
to banning them, you know?
so hold
no,
on.
but wait. But what I'm saying is that, like, I know, like, where my audience is, and if my audience is, like, massively falling out of alignment with my belief, I'm going to course correct on that, because I'm going to start talking about a certain thing, and I'm going to move them in a certain direction, and I know we're going to have some friction there, but that's okay because I'm carving my audience to resemble what I hope my belief is.
Okay.
So if Peterson really doesn't believe these things about women being excluded from the workplace, why, if he turns to his fan base and he sees that like, oh, 60% of these guys like fucking hate women, why would you not speak more to that? That's highly sussy baka.
Well, I think as an adult and somebody, so there was this conversation where he was talking about Milo Yiannopoulos, and he was saying, oh, the fool predates the Messiah archetype. And then Joe Rogan asked him, well, or the prophet. And then Joe Rogan says, oh, well, are you a prophet? And then he's like, oh, well, I didn't say that. Oh. But I feel like if he had fucking balls, he would have said, yeah, like, I'm trying to share wisdom with the young people. I'm trying to tell people what I think is going wrong with society. I'm trying to warn them about the downfalls. And so, yeah, like, I don't presume to be the greatest man that's ever lived, but I fit the prophet archetype, and that's the role that I'm trying to fill. I feel like if Jordan Peterson had balls, that's what he would say. Same thing with, there was another one where he totally pussed out. Matt Dillahunty. He was talking to Matt Dillahunty about fucking psychedelics, and he was saying like, oh, well, I think that psychedelics can reveal like spiritual truth and all this kind of shit. And Matt Dillahunty was like, oh, well, do you think that like you're getting visions of God? And then Jordan Peterson ran fucking away from it. I think that if he was actually telling the truth, he would say like, yeah, like a shitload of religious insight has come from meditation, starvation, and hallucinogens. Okay. Anyways, I
just
could,
saying that, like,
I could wrap there. Yeah, he should stop
if
being
you
a fucking
see-
pussy. Stand
Yeah,
on business.
exactly, yeah.
State your
But
shit.
it's not just being a pussy. I feel like it might be more intentional. Like if you're gaining,
He doesn't want to alienate his base.
Yeah, but if that's the base you're growing, I feel like that should just make you wonder what's going on. Like I like it.
Why? Well, why wouldn't he want? So, for instance, the most recent cowardice was
this
the
is an
Christian
example that I
thing.
give a lot. Okay, when I was coming up in the streamer world, okay, a long time ago when we were streaming, I was an RTS player, okay, and we had this wonderful word, faggot, okay, that we called everybody in
God, I
video
miss that
games.
word.
Yeah, so we called that to everybody. But I've never been. I don't think even in
Rip.
my most conservative time in life, I don't think I was ever homophobic. I don't think so. Or maybe I had very light homophobia, but I don't think I was ever really homophobic. I definitely wasn't homophobic by the time I was like in streaming and gaming.
Sure.
And when I was at a gaming house for a while, and I was listening to a couple other people talk, and one of them calls.
Quick joke. Did you suck dicks so you could say the F slur again?
No,
Okay.
but that would be funny. No, I don't think it's canceled out because if you're sucking a dick, but it belongs to Nick Fuentes, it like doesn't work that way. I'm just kidding. Stop. Joke.
Joke.
But the issue is that when I heard somebody else talking to somebody else, and they were talking about one of them brought up a gay guy,
Yeah.
and he referred to that gay guy as a faggot, and it was with like homophobic
Malice.
derision.
Yeah.
When I heard the guy say that, I was like, I noticed immediately that when I was around him, I was very uncomfortable using any type of word like that because I don't know if he thought that like I'm like a fucking ally in hating the gays.
Okay.
And then I think I made some blog post on my website, I think a few months or a year later, where I was like, oh, you know what? Just so you guys know, like I'm probably not going to use this word anymore. And this is before Twitch like policed it all or whatever.
Sure.
And I think this blog post, I think it's still up on my website. I was like, I don't really feel comfortable doing this for a variety of reasons because I don't know who's listening to me and who might think that like, oh, well, Destiny says this, so I like hate gay people
Homophobia
too.
is based.
Exactly. But like even I'm like noticing this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like a 23-year-old like fucking actual retard at 23. Jesus. So when people like Jordan Peterson are growing, amassing this fan base of people who have like pretty shitty views towards women, and I don't mean like traditional conservatives, I mean like fucking incel hater, crazy hater people. Why would you not say something to head that off a little bit? You know?
To head it off, I think if I was a steel man, the man, obviously post benzo sucks, but the pre benzo, I would say because he's trying to attract them and move them to a better path, and I think that would be possible.
But if you don't give the prescription, you're never moving them.
Well, but I think a lot of the prescriptions came in like the self-authoring suite, which I have not done, by the way. The psychological analysis, the mythological analysis, the religious analysis. I think that's where he would see it like, okay, I'm dragging in the schizophrenics by not criticizing the schizophrenics, but then I'm dragging them to this more white pill style content that hopefully gets them to improve their lives. And that's why I don't want to alienate them. He has gone, to his credit, he has gone hard against Tate. Like, hard as a motherfucker.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like the easiest target, I guess.
You say that, but so many people fail that very basic moral test.
I think most of the Daily Wire guys don't like Tate because they try to stand on their Christian business a little bit.
I know. There's just so many fucking Benny Johnson and Hodge twins and all those fucking losers.
Those guys are Benny Johnson.
Is dumb?
I just
Is an F slur?
the tenant money stuff and then work. That's just crazy, dude. I just can't imagine what my life would be like if it came out that I was getting paid by fucking Israel.
Yeah.
That would just be crazy.
Are you? Next question. Dude, that clip. So many people are going to use that. They're going to cut the fucking last bit off, and they're going to be like,
hope
more proof that Stephen works for Israel.
I mean, where's the that one thing that made the rounds on the Jalumni paying me that people were
Yeah,
running around
dude, you did the
believing?
alumni, and
The
then also like,
Jalumni? Are you
dude,
guys
like people
serious?
were the back seat where somebody was passing you shekels from the back seat of the car. I was like, why would he accept the cash in person? And how much shekels is that?
Can I say even after being there for 2 weeks, I never got used to hearing somebody
call it a shekel because you thought it was anti-Semitic.
everything in Israel was
somebody
anti-Semitic
told me,
to me.
They were like, oh, you know, like I paid that. They gave me a donation. They're like, the currency is in shekels, and I was like, God damn, that's anti-Semitic.
Seriously?
as
Yeah,
fuck.
every shop is like, oh, that'll be 120 shekels or something.
You're like, wow.
I'm like, no shot, dude. The
Whoa,
picture of
cool.
like the actual stereotype Jews, like
Let's
everywhere.
cool it with the anti-Semitism.
all the fucking Israeli flags, and I'm like, dude, I'm waiting for Fuentes to pop up on one of these, like, look, it's fucking Israel.
Hell yeah.
Jesus.
Ah, shit. It felt like we were talking shit about somebody. Oh,
Jordan
yeah.
Peterson.
Peterson. So, when it comes to Peterson, though,
He's cringe.
okay, I've accepted that. 70% of my own audience is going to think that he's cringe. I hold out hope for 18 Peterson, okay? But I guess the only thing that I would say is, like, I think that if you actually watch his content, he's trying to white pill people. He's trying to drag them away. But I do think that there's criticism for him being too much of a coward. As an example, with the Christian thing, that whole thing where the guy said, well, I don't call you anything because, or you're really nothing, aren't you? When he was talking about Christianity, it's because I think that Jordan Peterson would lose a substantive amount of his base if he said, I'm not a Christian literalist. I don't believe in God or Jesus as the Messiah, as God incarnate. However, I do think that this has mythological power, and I think that it has spiritual power, and I try to understand it as best I can.
Yeah, and then
I think
he LARPs as like a fucking Christian. It's so fucking cringe.
Right. And
watching him on that Christian versus atheist thing was the cringiest. Oh, well,
it wasn't that bad for me. I steel manned it.
Oh, you didn't come up Catholic, did you?
No, I was raised Catholic.
You were raised Catholic.
So my dad converted to Christian.
I feel like
when I was 12.
There were two things. One was a strong Catholic thing, and then the other was a basic philosophy thing that he didn't have answers for. That were
what was it? The sanctity of Mary.
Yeah, that's a big thing because that's Catholics always get hit with that. Don't you guys worship Mary from fucking Protestants?
Yeah, that's some like weird pagan shit.
Yeah, but like he acted like it was the first time he'd ever heard that, which is crazy to me.
Especially if he's hanging out with Catholics.
Yeah, what the fuck? And then the second was getting the really basic philosophy question. Like the number one challenge you always get, like the first time somebody opens their mouth about deontology is like, what would you do if a Nazi knocked on your door and you were hiding a Jew in the basement? And the fact that it seemed like he hadn't even considered that question before. I'm like,
he's considered it.
No, oh my God.
No,
and the
I'm
answer
serious.
he gave, it sounded like it was the first time he'd ever heard. He's like, well, I don't think I would ever even be in that position.
No. It's this whole fucking truth thing. It's the whole 12 rules for life thing where it's like, what's the fucking rule? I'm a terrible Jordan Peterson stan, but the rule where it's like, tell the truth or at least don't lie. The whole reason why that thing is because he feels like authoritarian societies come about when people start doing yes, no. When people start telling
I already
lies
know what
to
you're going to
themselves.
say.
That's it. That's
I know what you're saying, but that's not the answer that he gave.
Yeah, sure. You have to have the fucking. You gotta
in
watch.
5 seconds, you gotta
watch this
easily
11-hour
said-
clip.
Sure, but he could have said at the debate, like, I understand what you're asking me if I would lie there, but I would say that for things to get to that point, a bunch of lies would have already been said to get you there. So, like, would I lie at that point or not? Maybe not, but it's inconsequential because
he should probably just fucking own it and say.
But instead,
in the hypothetical, yes, sure. I mean, that's truth be told, I don't want to die on that hill because I think that the thing is, you can explain it. You can say, I think that society, by that time, we have fallen so far that that's not the kind of society that I would live in because effectively I would not be a part of that society.
Sure.
However, with that being said,
yeah,
if I could save a life by telling a lie, then of course I would say it.
you should have said it.
You're right. Post-Benzo Peterson is not pre-Benzo Peterson. And even pre-Benzo Peterson was verbose and not always straight to the point and not always willing to bite bullets.
True.
True.
Anything else for us?
Realistically, that's all I got, bro. I could come up with like another point, but if I'm just bringing up random shit, then I don't want to drag it.
Well, jeez. Oh, you mean like the dragon?
Yes.
What's your what was your last fun video on, like non-politics video?
I've been breaking down the Space Marine 2 video, the Space Marine 2 video game. I've been breaking down the plot for people for it. So basically, if you
Did it add any lore to the Warhammer
yeah,
universe, or
Yeah.
was it just like a story that took place and that didn't really add anything?
it did and it didn't. Basically, the Thousand Suns came back. They're a Chaos Trader Legion. They opened up a portal to hell. Lieutenant Dimitri and Titus had to fight and destroy that portal to hell, and he lived, and he was awesome. And he killed a bunch of bugs, and he killed a lot of Chaos Space Marines.
Damn.
Yeah, it was great. Dude,
Is there like a big? Is the lore still like continuing for that universe?
Yes.
Okay.
So what's going on is there's Primarchs. They're basically like demigods and generals who were they're like Arthurian legends. They're like heroes that disappeared and were lost to time. But they all have legends about how they're going to return when the world is starting to end. And now they're starting to return. So on one hand, it's great to have a hero with you who is like super powerful, competent, capable, et cetera, et cetera. It also means that you're fucked.
Okay. And we're waiting to see how all those god wars turn out.
All the what?
All the war, are they like do they fight each other? The demigod things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's half of the demigods fell to the dark gods, half of the demigods fell or still fight for order, basically the forces of order. But it's also authoritarian order, so it's like dystopian and fucked up and religiously dogmatic, and they kill their own people and all that stuff.
Okay.
It's pretty based.
When they said that Anakin was supposed to bring balance to the Force, what does that mean, balance to the Force?
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to fuck this up according to chat, but what's interesting is I've researched this. So the Jedi are light side, but they come from an ancient mystic cult that used to study the light side and the dark side. And so what's happened is, since they've had a schism and these cults have separated, the dark side keeps coming back up in order to fuck over the light side. And so by bringing balance to the Force, Anakin actually technically should not have been a champion of the light.
Yeah, that's what I was
There
saying.
was
Because
no
the Jedi
reason.
were kind of like winning at that point, right?
Yeah, no, the Jedi dominated the galaxy. They were intergalactic peacekeepers. The fact that they thought that he was going to come back in and somehow, like, you know, the light and the dark are not moral. They're not moral actors in the Star Wars universe. They're kind of like chaos and order. Chaos can be good, it can be bad. Order can be good, it can be bad. That's the same truth of light and dark. And so with light and dark, yeah, it doesn't make sense that Anakin would be purely a light side force.
I agree.
Yeah. That came up, right? Like in the Peace Go debate, there was like some one-off statement about Star Wars. I forget what it was.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Okay. What's the next? What?
Oh, sorry. All I was going to say is, in reference to Warhammer, I feel like I've observed that you like complex games that have like layers and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I think that any experience that you had with D&D and your love of complex rules and mastery of complex rules, I actually think that Warhammer tabletop would probably be interesting to you, even if you didn't play it.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Cool.
If I showed up, though, I would have the sickest painted figures
Yeah, because you pay somebody else to do it.
in Nazi memorabilia flags. They would all be Nazis.
Get Death Corps of Krieg.
Good.
They're like World War I German trench troopers.
Based.
And they all wear gas masks.
I want the World War II ones, though.
Then how would I do that? I'll get back to you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, listen, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, gonna shout myself out real quick.
Shout yourself out. Go for it, buddy.
Okay. My name is Conor. If you thought I was annoying or funny or cool or anything and you want to watch the rest of my content, I am live 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. My VODs are posted to the Counterpoints Politics channel. So if you want to watch me breaking down content, that's where you can do it. If you want to catch me live, on Tuesdays I'm live on politics, but Monday through Friday I am live on Valor Media Network. That's VALOR, Media Common Spelling, Network Common Spelling. Go ahead and type it into your search bar, Google it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on Monday. If you like Warhammer, if you like science fiction and science fantasy, type in Counterpoints 40K. That's my bigger channel. We have a great time. I'll also be launching a Star Wars and a politics channel within the next month.
Jesus.
So
a Star Wars specialty channel?
Yeah. So the way that I do breakdowns for Warhammer 40K, I'm going to do breakdowns for the Star Wars universe and for science fiction in general.
Wait, have you seen all of Andor?
No, I haven't. But
Have you seen any of Andor?
no, but it's
And you're going to do Star Wars breakdown
yeah.
without watching the best piece of content of the whole Star Wars universe?
I know it's the best piece of content. That's why I've held off on it, because
You're at Star Wars edging.
yes, my favorite content that I've seen is obviously Rogue One. And then
God, that's so overrated. Oh my God.
fuck yourself. And it's also
my
the same
God.
creators as Andor, so go fuck yourself again.
Did you really like Rogue One?
The Darth Vader thing.
Yeah,
Killed
Darth
everyone.
Vader.
Dude, it was so good.
And when you had the TIE fight and the space and the ship and the
No,
thing,
okay.
and you're like,
all right, fuck you. No, it's bad media take time.
I love that one. It was my favorite. I love it.
What's that voice from? What's the fucking
What do you
face
mean?
going
I went and I
side
saw
to
Rogue
side?
One in theaters. That's what every other person there sounded like. I was right about
It's like Doofy from like Scary Movie or some shit. I don't know. You did like a perfect impression of him. Anyways, fuck you. No, the reason why I like Rogue One is because Rogue One is a war movie that happens to be set in the Star Wars setting.
Oh, yeah, because it reminds me of like in Saving Private Ryan when they had the blind monk guy who could fight with a sword and was beating everybody. I remember
I fucking
that.
hate you. So
Yeah.
you're a fucking piece of
Okay,
shit.
yeah.
So anyways, no, but the commanders, the logistics, like the chain of command, the intel, the airstrikes, the assassination squads, all of that shit. And then also like the infantry tactics. That was Star Wars Rogue One infantry tactics blow. And by the way, they're not even that great. But they blow.
I don't remember this in the movie.
They actually move. No, they actually like move. They take cover. They fire from cover. They call in heavy support. They call in airstrikes. They do all that crazy shit. It's fucking awesome.
Okay.
So fuck you.
Oh my god.
Dude, I don't even like Star Wars that much.
Oh
Warhammer
my
is so much better than
God.
Star Wars, but shitting on Rogue One is fucking crazy.
Okay.
The rest of the like original movies, obviously good, but there's some corny elements to it. Prequels are super corny, but you can find gems in there. And then the new series started strong and then ended up sucking ass. And then Rogue One to me is like, it's the best piece of Star Wars media.
Who do you think would win? The main character guy in Dune 2? What's his name?
What,
Paul Atreides.
Mehdi Al-Gaib?
Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mehdi Hassan Gaib?
Him or Luke Skywalker in a fight?
Yeah, wouldn't Luke Skywalker just like grape him? Don't you think?
Can't he just tell Luke Skywalker to kill himself in
Yeah,
the voice?
but you have to presume that that's like a similar like Jedi Force trick, like using the alternative universe. So wouldn't like Luke be able to fight that back? Because he has mind tricks too. He can fucking force people to do shit.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
Okay, well, the Emperor of Mankind would eat them both as like snacks.
Who's the Emperor of Mankind?
Oh shit.
Warhammer?
Are you asking that? Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I don't know if you want to ask that question as we're wrapping up.
Okay, no, that's okay. We'll save it for next time, okay?
Okay.
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 Well, thank you, Counterpoints.
You're welcome.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.
All right.
Next time we're gonna shoot Skeet for 6 hours, and it's gonna be awesome. Okay?
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring my bolter because they gave us permission to do it.
True.
So I'm gonna bring a bolter and I'm gonna shoot Skeet with a bolter, and Steven's gonna do it as well.
It's gonna be awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I love you. Be careful, buddy.
Yes, sir.